Hello and welcome to another episode of Here Be Dragons. As always, I have a wild cast on top. Across the top, we have Sarah, Glenn, Jared, and Lindsay. My name is Jared. I'll be the DM today. Hopefully, my players don't kill me. Hopefully, I don't kill my players. Their characters. If you could each look under your seats at this point, don't cut the red wire.
Did you give me more candy?
I already did that.
No.
I already did that.
Look at what was under my seat. There was a bag of candy.
I feel shafted.
Well,
I quit.
because I haven't paid the players well enough with candy coins. This might be their last episode, or they're going to boycott. Whatever it may be. Thank you for joining. Here Be Dragons. We are in our 8th episode for this story arc. There's been a lot that's going on. We're having some fun, but before we dive in, we are having a blast playing and sharing with you. We also have a few sponsors that have helped us out over the last couple years, mostly providing giveaways for you all. So if you've gotten something or know of someone or have seen one of the giveaways here, go take a look at some of our sponsor stuff, because even if you can't afford their biggest, best, fancy like advent calendar things, there's a lot of cool stuff that these smaller companies have done. All of them around the gaming sphere. Caffeinated Kobold, Critical Treasures, Encounter Plus, and Heimdall, also known as Blacksmith Craft Dice. Previously known as. They're a bunch of great companies that have made some cool stuff. Take a look at them. You may still have time for some of them to ship to you for Christmas if you wish to get nerdy things for a loved one or for yourself and put Santa as the from line. If you have to. How did 6 sets of metal dice show up under my tree? Santa, thank you.
Santa.
Yeah, so take a look there. Otherwise, follow our socials, hop on our Discord. There are giveaways that happen from time to time. There are some other things that are going on in all of the meta of our show here. So the metaverse of Here Be Dragons exists on Instagram and Discord mainly. So take a look there. There's stuff that happens, and also take a look at our merch. We've got some cool shirts and mouse pads and blankets. You can get a Linus blanket if you really... What? We're booping the DM already. Thank you for the boop the DM, Scott. Keep it coming. I don't think we have a limit on those. Jared Hoy over there is rocking our Pillow Goblin shirt. There's a Pocket Pillow Goblin. Lindsay's got the... what do we call him? Fluff? Is he Fluff?
I don't know. Pillow Dragon.
The Pillow Dragon shirt. So you can get either of those on our site. Merch.streamelements.com/HereBeDragonsDND or the link below.
We've added a couple new designs in the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, like I said, there's a Linus blanket. Like if any of you have been following, you can get a card, but the size of a blanket of that actual item. So if you ever want Linus in your game, you may have it, and you may have the blanket that goes with it. There's some cool stuff. Check it out and rep our gear, have some fun, whatever it may be. Players, any announcements, any fun, anything happening that we should know about? Going once, going twice. We're boring. Let's dive into a game so we're a little less boring to you. I killed the players and their characters, and everything imploded. Bye, says Glenn. Nope. Well, we're
Good show, guys.
Good show.
All right,
We had a good run. We're diving back in to the Festival of Lights happening in the town of Crystal Keep. Wow, Candlekeep. Nope. So in the town of
Also
Crystal
a thing,
Keep.
though.
Also
I see, that's a thing, right?
It is. It's in a totally different place, different world.
It's a library.
Yes.
Oh.
So we're back at Crystal Keep, and the Festival of Lights is about midway through. Last night there was a large light show that happened to celebrate this festival, but partway through, a booming voice echoed throughout the town and sent the townsfolk scurrying home quickly, as it was ominous and had a message about the children. Now, our party, most of our party, let's say, it was Lily, Eljor, and Fizz, had gotten their new home. They had gotten a place just up into the old part of town that was once a little shop with a home above and is now very much abandoned, but with their friend Electrum, they were able to make a home base.
Thanks,
Now,
Corrigan.
Corrigan, however, had gone off to do their thing, go to meet the king and spend some time in the king's preferred seating area for the light show. About partway through the light show, Corrigan, out of the corner of their eye, had seen some shadows move. Now, there were lights going everywhere and people moving about, but these shadows seemed to be mildly detached from another being and just kind of moved on their own. Corrigan, as you were hanging out and speaking with the king and the elven emissary that you had met a couple nights prior, how would you have reacted to these shadows?
I mean, it's a festival of lights, so it's not. Nothing is surprising me about shadows, unless they're like coming to life and stealing children or something. Then I'd get involved.
Yeah, there's no stealing of children.
But I'd imagine it's all just play with either magics or torchlight dancing.
And as the torchlights dance and these shadows move about, Corrigan continues to party. Now, we're going to spend a second here to say thank you, Scott Denuzo, for all of those bits. You are the new hype boss, so feel free to pick a player or DM on screen to get that nat 20, as you are the new hype boss.
Teleport should get it.
Sarah, give it to Sarton.
What?
Which one?
Oh, geez. Scott. You've also given it to Jared before as well, and we had to figure out who that Jared was. So, well...
I'm gonna say the attractive one.
Was he the one who said that?
I don't know. Come on, Scott. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Come on.
So now, as the light show had started, to Jared Sarton. Oh, that's me.
I knew
It
it.
me. Players. I believe in the words of some Jurassic Park quote. Better hold on to your butts. I'm gonna start smashing faces soon. But the light show.
Clever girl.
Clever girl. I'll save that one for later.
Okay.
The light show had begun, and about partway through, as the booming voice hit, Corrigan, you feel that sound almost emanated from nearby. You can't quite pinpoint where it came from, but as the booming voice echoed across the town square, you noticed that your vision started blurring, and you were very much having a hard time keeping focus on the world itself. Like, everything started fading to black for you. Whether or not it was just the sheer force of the boom or something else happening, you only had a couple seconds to look around before the darkness collapsed around you. Is there anything that you would do reacting to this?
I was in the king's box when it went down. Yeah.
Yeah. So you were talking with the king and the elven emissary. There were a few guards. There were a few other nobles up there. It wasn't like shoulder to shoulder or anything. So you had a lot of space to move, whereas the city center was very packed tightly.
Let's see. What would I do? I gotta check my things here. Nope, I don't have anything there. All right, cool. Probably Corey would just do like Clint Eastwood in the Line of Fire, and be like, "Get down!" and just like reach out and get as many people as he can with his wee tiny arms and his wee tiny wings, and essentially give cover to nobody. but try to drag people down into safety to the deck.
As you reach out and like grab at a few people, you grab just like a hem of a dress and like a sleeve of a shirt, and you go unconscious and fall to the ground. Now, the next thing you realize is your ears are ringing, and you feel this weighty heaviness across you, almost as if every muscle in your body had been punched multiple times and you're just super sore. But as you're able to start to open your eyes, you notice that you're in a bed, and you seem to see that there's a couple other beds around. In the middle of the room, there's an older man who, what you'd recognize from the garb, is a healer. So you may believe to be in either a cleric's ward or a town infirmary at this point. How do you handle your new situation as you wake up in a completely different place?
Daytime or nighttime, or can I tell?
From what you can tell, it's still kind of dark through the couple windows that have curtains pulled across them, so you can't tell if it's early morning or late night, and you can't quite tell how much time has passed. You've obviously been moved to a new location, so at least a few minutes have passed.
It's like, you there, man, old man, what, human man, what?
Yes.
Why have you taken me here? What
Well,
exactly is your
you're
intention?
in the town infirmary. This is the royal wing. How are you feeling?
I've little recollection of what transpired, if I'm being honest. Is the king and the Elvis the Elvis emissary, the Elven emissary,
Hey.
those parties. Okay, last I realized there was a big earth-shattering kaboom, and my wings have failed me.
The king is resting in the castle. He was taken there and under special care. You said an elven emissary. I believe she may be at the castle at this point. We had a few of our royals go that direction, but there is one man over here. Do you recognize him? And as you're able to sit up a little bit, you notice across the way, the old man points to a figure, and his face is bruised a bit, but he looks similar to the man that you had met with Elven Emissary at the party a few nights back.
Oh, the older gentleman, or like the cloaked gentleman.
Yeah, the one that spoke very little.
Is he awake?
No, he is unconscious at the moment.
I will. No, I won't do that because my stats suck in that. I do believe he. It's hard to tell, with the, but he may be the aide to one of the emissaries. I believe I saw him at the king's party on the first night. He may be an aide or even an emissary himself. I've not had the honor to meet him.
Well, he's an unknown right now, and I believe. Could you state your name so I know that you're not mentally unsound?
That's sure enough. You can't tell that by a name, but since you're asking, I'm telling. My name is Corrigan Shee, of the fairy delegates. I travel with a small retinue of companions whom I hope are safe. I don't see them here, so I'm assuming they're okay.
as you're speaking and telling about yourself, you hear mm-hmm, and he reaches over and he starts like poking and prodding and gently like tugging on your wings and your arms and making sure nothing like causes immediate pain. And he looks you over, and you continue to speak, and he goes mm-hmm, mm-hmm, and as soon as you've finished your sentence there, he goes, did anything hurt? You didn't seem to quit speaking, and I'm very much amazed at your physical condition, given we've already lost one of the town guard.
Well, what can I say? I am little.
Well, if you wish, you may go, but if you feel ill or any pain, please report back here so we may at least try to solve whatever issues there are.
I thank you for your strong attendance to my disposition, and I'll be back to check on this gentleman here. If no one's claimed him, everyone should be with someone if they're passing, and he doesn't look so good.
I will send a runner to speak with the elven emissaries, as you said that he may have been part of their group. We'll at least try to find someone he's with. Otherwise, thank you for your kindness. The door is this way, and he kind of points down a hall that is fairly dark. A couple candles lit, no windows down it, but there's a door at the end that's slightly ajar. A little bit of light coming in.
Thank you for your time. Is there do you have a page or a runner available? I'd like to send word to the king that I am recovered and well. I'm sure he's a mite worried about his wee friend.
Yes, the runner is actually going to the castle. We'll make sure that he brings that information as well. As he's already seeking the elven council for this man over here. And again, motions to the man he tried to get your help identifying.
Well, thank you for your time. I'll be heading to my abode. And I flutter on out.
As you flutter out and get your bearings just a little bit, you realize you're back behind the main hall that had the party the first evening. Okay. Up ahead, you do see the small garden, the tree, and the little pond there. I can't recall if you had made it all the way back to that point. I think you came out the front door. So this is the first time that Corey is seeing this little nook. It's up against the city wall, but it's a very serene spot. The light that you get seems to be that the sun is just starting to peak up over the horizon. So you're getting a very orangish hue across everything, and there's a crispness to the air. It's a fresh morning as far as you can understand it to be.
Okay. I'll make my way back just because it is so early.
Yeah. Back towards the inn at this point?
Yeah, no, back towards our house.
Yeah, I don't think you know where the house is located. Oh,
I was the one that set it up.
Oh, yes, you were. Duh. So
I got the keys, but I don't think I've ever been in it.
No, as you were flying through the town center, you notice that there's a handful of guards here, just walking about, very much on patrol and very much armed. They're very wary of the evening's events prior, and are keeping an eye out to every creature that moves. You notice that they've been pointing and looking at corners and dark spaces, and keeping an eye not at the central parts of town, but anything that could be like sneaking in from the edges, essentially. They kind of glance at you and pay no mind. And as you make your way into the older part of town, you're able to find the Ye Olde Thread, the building that you have secured.
Is entry through the shop or through the like a backside or a side thing or something?
There is the entry through the shop. which has stairs in the back if you go through the front door. There is a door in the back that, if you were to investigate, would seem to be very much like shut tight and even almost sealed from the inside, and painted over on the outside as if to be unusable now.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm going thread hopping or shopping, or in the front door
Thread
or
shopping.
hopping.
Yeah, I mean, so as you enter the front door, your beautiful shop is actually empty. There's nothing there. There's a couple shelves along the walls. There's some sun fading on the floor where shelves were once placed. In the back, you do see the stairs that go up, and there's a little bench kind of where you'd most likely do your transactions, where like the shopkeep would sit.
Mm-hmm.
From the stairs above, you hear what might sound like some snoring or some heavy breathing, as if there's a few creatures upstairs still in slumber.
Well, I'll fly on up there. I'll fly to avoid stepping on any creaky boards or anything.
Yeah, as you fly upstairs, you do notice there's Lily and Eljor, a bag that you recognize as Fizzlepop's little domain, and another body that is laying on a small cot wrapped in a blanket, a larger human male.
Familiar or unfamiliar?
Unfamiliar immediately, as you hadn't gotten the full glimpse of the man that was pulled out of the jails in the bag in parts or whatever had occurred.
He was in One Piece.
He was in one piece.
Oh, when Fizzlepop took the salt to the people. Yeah, I got it. I got you.
Yeah. So you might have a little inkling of who that may be, but not immediately like, oh, I know this guy. So
okay. I'll find a spot and kind of nuzzle in somewhere. I don't know. Let's see. Either with Eljor. Yeah, I'll nuzzle in with someone. I don't care who.
On the bed that has Fizz's bag, you can. Thank you for the boop. You can notice that it looks like the bed hadn't been slept in, so Fizz probably spent her evening in the bag. So there's space there, but you can also go diving in next to Eljor if you wish.
I don't care who, but I just want the warmth of a people.
Like a small puppy cuddling up next to Eljor.
Which one looks the most cuddly between? Well, Fizz is in her bag, or in his bag. Between Eljor and Lily, which one looks the cuddliest?
I mean, let's ask a quick question. Eljor or Lily, would you be sleeping with heavy covers, light covers?
Light or heavy? Because I am an elf, and elf are cold perpetually, I think, because they're so thin and tall and long.
I'm a gnome.
Elves don't actually sleep, though, do they?
Light.
So light for the gnome.
We trance.
True.
So like, we keep our passive perception.
Lily's a gnome, which means like, cause I'm small and she's small.
There's more
best
than enough
spooning.
It's the spooning situation.
The best
But
spooning.
you're the little spoon.
You're the little spoon. He's
maybe
the best spoon.
If Eljor wants to get involved, it could be like a measuring cup.
a measuring cup. Just
They're like party. Nesting spoons.
the party just like all squishes together. The party that snuggles together.
Really
what rhymes with snuggles?
Ruffles.
Ruffles together. I don't know.
Snuggles.
Yeah, I'll cuddle up and snuzzle in with Lily because it's more size appropriate.
Now, just from my understanding, do fairies do like the dog thing where they get their nesting spot and then turn around 3 times, or do you just like?
I feel like it's more like Tinkerbell from Hook, like it's
in the air and then
a spin and then like a whoosh dive bomb into where
and glitter bomb.
yeah, just
All right. So as you land, Lily, I need you to make a perception at disadvantage,
Perception.
and we're using rolls here, no passives.
Well,
But
I
I keep my
assumed
passive when I'm
18.
trancing.
You can, but what was your disadvantage roll there, Lily?
Disadvantage was 18.
18. You are kind of wiggled awake as a thud happens right next to you, and you get a light sprinkling of fairy dust across your face that might tickle your nose just a little bit.
Cool. Love it.
Opens eyes, sees Corey, goes back to sleep.
Like,
All right.
okay.
About an hour or so later, the sun starts to break through the windows here as it needed a little bit more time to get above the buildings across the street. So the light in the room starts to glow a bit. The dust catches in the sunbeams that come through the window and starts to stir most of you awake. Fizz, you don't catch any of this. Whatever you're doing, however you're nestled in your little domain, it's the same exact spacing, nonetheless.
I can't help but equate Fizz to this kid, this friend of mine in high school that I had. His room was in the basement, like it was a furnished basement, but like he'd fall asleep to like heavy death metal, like at super high levels, and that's how I picture Fizz.
No, that was me, legit. Especially when I was in college, I would just like drop asleep somewhere random on campus. Like it was so weird.
Between courses, let's just go lay in the library for a few minutes.
Yeah.
8 hours later.
8 hours later. Well, missed my class. So Fizz in her space. Fizz, because we've talked about it, how are you doing in your little domain? What's going on in there?
Well, last I remember, I was working on maps or something.
Yeah,
and yeah, no one ever stopped by or anything, so I think I probably just fell asleep at my desk because I never thought about it.
So you begin to wake up as you hear some movement out the top of your bag, and kind of sit up and see that you've got a bit more drawn than you expected. Most likely because you just continued to work as the eyelids got heavy. There's a couple slightly sloppier lines, like Fizz notices, but most people probably wouldn't, that you see where you probably finished for your evening. But the commotion outside starts to wake you a bit. Party, how does the morning kick off for all of you as you now have a Corey in your midst?
Excuse me. When did Corrigan come back?
Corey, I've been here the whole time.
Like,
what are you talking about?
the whole time?
Yeah, since I got here.
Since I got
When
here.
was that? When was that?
Last
sometime.
night.
In the past, I'm sure.
In the future. He'll get here eventually.
In the
The
Yeah.
healer took care of me, sent me back here. He said, hey, take care. He'll send someone if things go bad.
Were you hurt?
Also, what happened while you were gone?
That's a question you've asked. As far as
Is there
I know,
an answer to that
I
question?
don't know. I was hanging out. I was with the king in the box talking to my elven friend when there was a large boom, and I saw things go black. I tried to save as many as I could, and then I woke up with the weird guy touching me. He gave me like
That's
little
quite the
tugs on
evening.
my wings.
That's really weird.
Also, that one guy, the creepy one, that's with the elven lady,
The king.
I think his face may have burned off. His accent's changed slightly because I'm
From
scared
the
of burned
boom?
faces. Maybe.
DM, did we hear the boom too?
Yeah, you did last night. There's a large boom just before the voice had spoken. The ominous voice that said the children have awoken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you did hear that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we heard the boom too. Do we know what the boom was?
Ip.
My internal alarm clock. Beep, beep, beep. Boom! Get out of bed!
This zooms. It was a
maybe,
reference to an old Monster
Fizz
commercial. But
do something. Fizz likes to mess with things like that.
Fizz, you hear your name
Morgan,
at this
how was the
point.
party?
I come out and I'm like, it's pretty noisy up here. Where's breakfast?
I don't know,
I could
but
go for a
Morgan's here.
scone. Let's get some scones.
Like,
Yeah, that sounds delicious. We should go down to the tavern. Get some breakfast. We can chat on the way.
Oh, the little one's here with the wings.
The fairy?
You mean the best one?
The little one with the wings. Okay.
The bird.
Where?
And I look at him, I go, "Are you a
Butterfly.
bird?"
In fact, I may be terrified of birds.
I don't
They
blame
sometimes
you.
try to eat us.
In fact, I may be terrified of birds.
Hashtag fairy problems.
For real. I just
What
get up and I
exactly
say,
did you
"Scones
blow up
sound
last
great."
night, Fizz?
What?
What'd you blow up?
Me?
Yeah.
I was here, working.
Somehow.
On the maps, you guys know.
The eyes. Corrigan gives you the eyes.
I gotta line it up.
Silly people acting like they never seen lights and they're playing with explosions, and now you guys are wondering what the explosion was when you were deliberately setting off explosions and watching them? I don't understand what the
We're having
confusion is here.
conversation.
Yeah, but
Fizz.
that's different because there were fireworks and then there was a message. And then last night there was a boom. I don't think that was firecrackers.
Corey, you didn't quite catch the message because it was a few seconds after the boom, and you had been unconscious at that point.
There was a message?
Yeah,
What did it say? To whom?
it said the
Mhm.
hills have eyes.
Children
I'm just
have
kidding.
woken.
Children have awoken. Something about children. And we gathered that means the people from the mines. Isn't that right, team?
Yeah, we spent
Wait.
some time looking into some old tomes and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones that talked about the people that went down there and did all that weird shit
The
in the
books.
mines.
The bookshop. You didn't go.
I wasn't even invited.
Didn't
Oh,
we read?
Whoa.
Didn't we read a thing about the children and awakening
Surely.
on? It's probably on a map or something. Or was it the weird guy that sent stuff through the tubes? I remember something.
Those guys. I think it
Not
was
the
those
children.
guys.
Friends.
Countryman.
2 friends.
Country.
Man.
Friend, get it? Some friends. Romans, countryman.
And there's a lot going on. It's hard to keep track of it all the time.
Yes.
The DM has a single tear. Just.
There's more than you'll ever know. There's about 17 NPCs that you'll never see. They died. They had backstories.
They died.
They had
I
lives.
definitely remember something about children.
That they're annoying?
No, that they're important.
Backbone of society, some might say.
So
At this
No,
at this
wait.
point, the man who is sleeping off to the far end of the room sits up. Well, you're quite a lively bunch this morning.
Well, you should just be glad to be alive. You're welcome again, by the way.
Thank you, tiny lizard friend.
Who's this then?
This is the guy that was almost dead.
Yeah, the rightful king.
And I made him not dead.
Well,
He did.
since we haven't officially met, my name is Sir Elder Gleams, but just call me Jack.
That's
And his brother isn't actually his brother, right? Is that what you said?
I think so.
Yes,
At least
yes,
he's not
indeed.
much
See?
so.
You need to be careful around that guy, Corgi, because...
why? I made
He's
friends
not-
with him.
Well, he's not who he says he is, I guess.
Yeah,
Starts
that's all the
being a
more
very
reason to
odd
make friends
voice.
with him. Make friends with everybody.
Corgi and the BBEG are best friends, according to our dear Fizz there. Corgi Man is
Well, they've been hanging out every
frenemy.
day.
they are good friends. I'll give you that.
Did he explode me?
did he explode me?
I don't
No, but I
know.
think that voice might have been him.
Because we went. I was told that he went to the castle for his medical needs. Him and he's mating with the elves currently, I think.
Did you say he's mating with the elves? I'm so confused.
Neat.
I'm so confused.
They're
Fizz
making
needs
half
coffee.
That's already a thing, though.
They're making half elves.
Oh, weird.
Bacon apples.
That was
No,
Corey's.
I love that Glenn's response was so delayed. I love it.
Sometimes they just like take a while to process things, and then I remember that was said, even though it was like 4 seconds ago.
No, I get it.
So I apologize if that happens again.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's a beautiful time here in the States where we have a couple large holidays squished together. Thanksgiving, the precursor to the Christmas season. So most of the people here in the
It's-
States are in like a mental
Thanksgiving's the
fog.
warm-up holiday.
It's the warm-up holiday. We're in a mental
It's not
fog.
even. They've skipped over it now.
Well, I mean, like
Yeah, I
it
know.
primes you for all the like family stuff. Like it's like one day instead of like 2 weeks with your family and.
Thanksgiving here in the States is where you eat a lot of food between Halloween and Christmas. That's just kind of like your center
much,
point
yeah.
between. That's it. That's all it is. But yeah,
You gain all the food for your
Everybody's
hibernation.
goals goes away. Yeah.
basically.
I messed up my turkey this year.
Oh no.
Oh,
I just feel like I don't even know like where we're at in the holiday season because like Christmas had started before Halloween.
yeah.
Just all Christmas
Party
Hanukkah
on.
months ago.
I'm celebrating the spring solstice already. Fuck it.
We got Christmas presents before Thanksgiving even happened. So,
And some of them weren't even wrapped. It was just like, here's your Amazon package.
Well, I
was like,
can't
wow,
say
how
much about that
magical.
because Jared sent one in a text before Thanksgiving, so.
You know,
A text?
I text people their Christmas gifts. If you haven't gotten your Christmas gift already, I don't have your phone
It
number.
was just Venmo. Here's your Venmo link. I sent you $5.
No. We'll continue that later. But we're currently celebrating the Festival of Lights. Come on,
yes, we are.
Come
Exploding
on.
lights.
come on.
Okay. So, we should go get some coffee and scones.
And yeah, scones and crumpets and coffee.
Friend, do you want any? Because you probably want to stay here so that nobody sees you / recognizes you.
Yes. I'll gladly take whatever.
Let's get some scones.
Feel free to send something back or bring something back. I'm sure that I can pay a courier. He reaches into his pocket and he's got a few coins left over from his purchase of goods the other night.
Cool.
So
All right, let's
he sits down and starts perusing a few papers that were in some of the boxes prior, and does his thing.
I look at him and I grab my bag. Just like watching him.
He gives a nice wave to the party, obviously seeming a bit more cheerful and excited, especially that you were able to free him from pillow prison. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Well, no,
And
I
real
freed him
prison.
from the real prison.
And
What
real
are you
prison.
talking about?
You guys let him out. Of
And
2 different
apparently, I
prisons.
saved him from some murdering ghosts attacking people into pieces. So,
Oh man.
The murdering ghost was you.
I didn't
The
kill anyone. I just broke someone's ankle.
did-
And
you
it was
were
an
the murdering
accident.
Walking around with faces of people.
No,
You
we
sound
had.
the murdering
He
ghost.
was a whole person. He was not in pieces.
What it looked like at all.
Fizz will never live this down. Hashtag danger
That was-
lizard.
She
That
was
was
there
nice.
too.
Yeah.
Can I have my cloak
I will.
back, please?
We gave it back to
Do you
him.
harm small animals in your free time?
Huh?
No.
Yikes.
Good, just making sure.
The whole idea was that we
It wasn't
would look
free
like,
time. It was scheduled.
No, I gave it back to him when we were downstairs. When we got the dead
You
guy.
may have.
Not
You may-
dead
I
guy.
vaguely remember that.
When we got the guy into the basement, I gave it back to you. So if you don't have it, it's on you. I don't have it.
No, I vaguely remember it.
So you may put that back in your character sheet if you wish.
What? Okay, so we're going
Alright.
for scones.
Yeah.
Let's get some scones.
There
What?
There is a small bakery just down the road on the way to the inn. So you may
Is it the
choose
Shadow
to.
Reels Bakery?
Is it the Shadow Reels Bakery? Do you remember seeing the sign that said Shadow Reels Bakery?
I'm just asking.
Yes, it is.
I don't think
Great.
she's here, but that's okay.
So the Shadow Reels Bakery is there. In
A reference to something.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just
We-
smile and
Okay,
nod.
cool.
Smile and nod. But the reference, for those of you who may remember or not, Shadow Reels is one of our longtime watchers who, when it works out, because she's in the UK, I believe, and it's not 1 a.m. for her, she'll be here. But she had given some tips and bits and whatnot and was like, what about a bakery? And so we named a bakery after her. So this realm has a chain of bakeries called the Shadow Reels Bakeries. So
Love it.
there is
That's awesome.
there is a chain of bakeries. You did notice one just down the road. Should be open at this time, but there's also past that you can head to the inn if you wish. Where do you wish to
Yep.
go?
let's go to the bakery.
The bakery. As you approach, party, you notice that there's a couple people standing outside waiting to go into the bakery, as if there was a little line. There's a few tables out front that are mostly filled. There's 2 empty ones and about 4 or 5 filled tables. Everyone's enjoying a pastry on a plate, a cup of some warm beverage next to it. You see a little bit of steam coming up, and there's an excitement that's going on across everyone there. Just like a happy spot that people are getting together. You notice that there's people hugging and seeing each other potentially for the first time, or excited to see someone after last night's events. The city is lively, more lively than one would expect because of the festival going on. And as you approach, the people who are waiting in line are able to make their way into the bakery, and you see a few come out. So it is a hoppin' place this morning. You smell sweets of all sorts. And as you walk past the tables to the front, you smell a bit of tea kind of wafting off of one of the tables, and then what you believe to be a coffee or coffee-like drink as well from one of the other tables. Very, very enticing smells. And as you get to the door, there's a little goblin there who is standing in the doorway, and he goes, "1 second, please. We're quite busy this morning. Can you just wait a moment? We'll let you in briefly." And as you're waiting there, he like taps his toe nervously and like watches the people inside and looks at you and watches the people inside, and you see him like counting. Okay, we need one more person to leave, and a few people are starting to walk out. Yeah, I think you can all fit. And as he lets you in, the bakery is actually empty at this point. He let the 5 or 6 people out, so you party are the only ones in the front of the bakery and are able to look through some of the glass panes and see all of the sweets that have been made. There's another goblin behind the counter. It seems that these shops are run by goblins, and so everything's a bit lower as you walk in. So it's at the height of part of our party, but to our friend Eljor, it's a little low. You're kind of like hunching down a little bit or leaning over to interact. Hi, welcome. We've got lots of pastries that we just made just for our guests. And you can tell that their hospitality is trying to be great, but they're very nervous creatures as they're greeting you and running this shop. Is there anything that we can get for you in the cases or to drink? And he points up to a sign that's got a few different drinks listed up above with some coinage prices.
Great. I'd like a bear claw and a black coffee.
Like a literal claw of a bear, or okay,
No.
good, because we don't deal with meats. We do have a few treats down there. And he looks and he snaps, and one of the other goblins who's just kind of sitting back behind the counter hustles up and grabs a box and starts putting a bear claw in and just kind of watching you all for the next orders.
A little orange juice to me.
I want a good berry scone, if possible, with some thistle tea, please.
Yes, we have both of those. We can get them for you. And you see another pastry get set into the box. And we had just an orange juice, correct? Is that what Eljor had ordered? Fizz.
Mm-hmm.
The goblin turns and looks at you and waits for your order.
Something cinnamon, I guess?
Something cinnamon! We've got that! And like 3 pastries get thrown in that look like they're cinnamon covered or infused. And as you're sitting there, the goblin behind the counter writes a few things down and then gives a very scripty like sign on this piece of paper and then sticks it to the top of the box. And it's got your order on there. You can hardly read the scratch of the writing of what has been ordered. But you see that there's like 5 pastries in this box. And then there's a couple things written. A small tray comes sliding out and a few little cups get set down and then a mug gets set down. They're all empty. And then a few goblins go in and out of the kitchen very quickly and get the teas and the juice and everything all poured for you all. And the goblin behind the counter is just grinning ear to ear with his big, sharp, pointy-teethed grin. And he's just excited. And he goes, anything else we can do to serve you before you enjoy your beautiful day?
Nope.
Okay, that'll be 2 silver, please.
I hand one of the silver.
I'll get the other one.
Thank you.
I bought the house.
I bought the house. The goblins look at you briefly. Wait, did you buy this one? And they all just stop and stare at you as if like, because you said you bought the house.
Don't you think you would know if we bought this house?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Back to work, boys. Back to work. You enjoy your beautiful day, and if you need anything, the Shadow Reels Bakery is always open as long as it's sun up to sundown.
Great.
And they're all waving, and then
Thank you.
the goblin at the door.
Are they waiting for us to leave?
No, they're just like waving, like thank you.
Oh.
And just like they're all happy. They're not like shooing. They're just waving. The goblin at the door
Bye.
just nods his head like thank you as you walk past. And then there's 2 people waiting to get in, and you hear him say something along the lines of, I I just gotta count to make sure that there's enough space for you. And you all realize that you were the only people in there prior. And you see him like on his fingers counting, and then he goes, okay, and those two people go in. So I guess they put the one that's not so great at math at the door. There's a couple tables open here, unless you wish to go back to the inn and sit in like the pub area to have your breakfast.
Let's sit here. I don't see why not.
Sure.
We did get something for our friend, right?
There were extra pastries in the box that they threw in from Fizz when she ordered something cinnamon.
Ah, great.
So if not all 5 pastries are consumed, then you have something you can bring back to him.
Great. We'll just try to save one of those. Okay, so let's chat about what we think is going on.
I think someone tried to blow me up.
Trying to blow you up.
You
Still
specifically?
don't remember an explosion, though.
I mean, I woke up in the medicine house.
I mean, you had no injuries, though. You think if someone had blown you up, at least you have a little singed hair.
I mean, I'm pretty sore.
Wait,
Pretty
where
sore.
were you when you passed out?
In the king's observation books, watching the fireworks.
And his face looked all mangled after the blast, or was that before?
The face mangling was on the different guy in the hospital. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe that was the king.
But he was in the box with you, though, yes?
I don't know. I don't recall him.
Oh.
He might have been the other lady, the elven emissary was there. Was talking with her and the king. Now I have no idea where I'm from. And then there's the explosion, but I've seen him with her at the party, and then when we first met at the table downstairs at the inn.
Maybe we go see her in hospital. You think you could arrange that, Mr. Royal Man?
Well, that's... I told him that I'd be back to check on the guy.
You need
but I
your
kind
retina,
of want.
yes?
Yeah, well, I kind of want to see if I can talk to her first.
Sure.
To see if he was in the room with us.
He was in the room where it happened.
Yeah.
Where it happened.
Yes.
I'm just waiting for that redemption for me to sing something about the episode. Thank you for the rest of you who are taking care of that. Now, as you're speaking, can I get a perception check from each and every one of you?
Is it daylight?
Yes.
It is daylight, but not overly bright. I believe you have a caveat on that one, and I can't remember if you're able to not have to roll on it because of proximity to party and or other things.
If it relies on my sight,
No.
then I'm at disadvantage.
No, it's not relying on your sight, it's relying on hearing.
Ooh. 13.
15.
13.
Well, let's see. After I had my perception of a 6 to it, rolled a 7.
All right. So you all hear some murmured
Classic.
bits of conversation. Eljor, you hear as you're enjoying your breakfast, you overhear an old woman speaking to someone. You hear,
Oh, did you hear about that young boy who, he was dripping tar out of his nostrils when he came from the mines. And they say he spoke like an evil beast. But I could have sworn I saw him just running through the streets playing with the other children. Do you think it's connected to last night?
Oh my god, did they mean actual children?
Lily, you
Children
you
have a
hear,
walk-in.
You hear briefly a man talking to another. It seems that the blast last night killed a few guardsmen, and you don't catch much as they're walking past, but you hear that a few guards were killed by whatever blast had occurred last night, whether or not that's the boom that you had heard or something else. And Fizz, you overhear some more conversation as well, and it seems like a few young kids joking about something.
Oh, did you hear that during the fire show last night that it seemed like the king's box exploded. Like everyone just kind of flew out of the viewing booth and well, I hear the king floated away. That's I don't know. That's weird. But did you hear that?
And the other boy just kind of giggles.
Oh, I heard that the fireworks blinded like someone last year and they still can't see.
And they're giggling and laughing as they go past. Unfortunately, Corey, with your lower roll, you just hear conversations about the breakfast and how wonderful the pastries are, and they're talking about how the Goodberry pastry has been one of the best created in the lands. So
Because it fills you up for the whole day.
there it is.
So apparently the box exploding was a thing, and there's a rumor that the king floated away. But somebody explain to me what's going on with these creepy kids. Like, what's the situation?
I didn't think when the voice said the children have awoken that it would be actual children, because I think I have some qualms about fighting them.
Yeah, I thought they were talking about dwarves.
We're talking about just like my
But
children.
again, we've seen
somebody
something written down about children being awakened. Maybe on the back of.
Yeah.
Where did we see it?
Here's the thing. If there was a child that was not naturally asleep and is now awake and it's something to be afraid of, I'm going to behave appropriately. So we have that clear.
You've never behaved appropriately.
Fizz.
I don't know. I thought that for some reason they were talking about dwarves, and they were talking about people that had gone into the mines to be a part of something. Is that right? Am I?
what we've read about in those books.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't
Was
they
it
say
rituals?
the dwarves have a weekend? Is it a cult?
I think the
They're called,
children
like-
are just like the followers of that, cult. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so as the two of you who were actually at the library, Eljor and Lily, the book that you had read had made mention of a cult, and that the children were like the ascended ones who became part of whatever deity or being was worshipped in the mines over the 50-year period. They got to become
was a long time
more
ago, right?
powerful or more enlightened or whatnot, but it doesn't speak of who or what they become after the fact, because no one has been recorded to have seen them and or survived seeing them.
Okay.
Why don't we go down into the mine to see what we can find?
I feel like that's the most direct route.
Yeah, I agree. That should be fun.
That should be
good breakfast.
fun.
Who has
Or we
dark
could have a
When I
vision?
jaunt down into the mine.
We could ask my elven friend.
I can actually see you if it's dark. I don't necessarily. Yeah, I have dark vision.
I mean, I think I glow.
I prefer to be where it's not bright. I can't see when it's like this.
I do have dark vision. Awesome. I didn't see it right away, but I see it now. I can see. Let's do this. Let's drop off the scones for our friend so he has something to eat. See if he wants to go with us, and then go. Because it would be rude not to invite him. Even Zelda agrees.
Are
To the
we doing this party?
mines!
Do the mines! Now,
we bring
we're going
all
to the
those
mines, then.
devices as well.
Yes.
The devices that we were granted to use for the heists, but may be useful in other circumstances.
Why not? It's our stuff.
Well, what do they have to say about it?
Who?
Those guys might know.
What guys?
The little kobold man.
Oh.
Electrum and Lock,
The
Stock, and Barrel.
exploding kobolds, yeah.
Yeah. They might know.
Exploding.
They might have an idea.
They might.
We're not exactly on, like, the best
We're not on
terms
great-
with him right now.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Remember he told us he was, like, part of the cult thing? He was, like, the
No,
leader of the
no.
gang.
To make sure that we don't cross the cult.
No, he's the leader of the gang that they
he-
were arresting people for being, and then
Isn't it the red shoe or something
The underfoot.
and then
underfoot.
Red
And then
Cap
he said
was
he
the name
left
of-
it, but he's like still talking to people in there, and then he's like all
But he
salty
chose
because
not-
some.
I thought he chose
What?
not to be involved with them.
Yeah, he chose not to, but he kept talking to him.
But his people got the house for us.
So
And
I
they're
was
gonna set up a
initially really
shelter when we're
upset
done
about
with
it. But the thing is, I slept on it, and I thought, it's probably a good thing that he was keeping tabs on them in case they started to go crazy because, he's got his brain on straight. It's okay.
But then he needs to, I don't know. He didn't leave him behind though. He's like, oh, I'm done with them. No, he wasn't done with them.
He was
When
done.
we're flying around town, like looking around town, walking around town, are there any vagrants, vagabonds, bums hanging around?
At this point, you don't notice any. Being the festival, it seems that the streets were cleaned of them, whether or not they were rehomed or asked to move out of the city. There were a few spots that looked like they might have been a little bit more worn in like a corner that had been lived in, but there are no beings inhabiting some of these areas. So you don't see any street folk at this point.
Got it.
I'm really curious to see what the initial plan was for the explosion. If it was to kill someone, if it was to send a message.
How do we know
All
All I
that
know is
the...
basically the king flew out of the box.
Yeah.
Kids are coming out of the mines with tar coming out of their orifices, and the explosion seems to not have really hurt the king. He floated out of the box. My insinuation is that he caused the explosion. He was the one speaking.
Oh.
So
did you
honestly,
tell?
I really should be seen momentarily after the
Agreed.
explosion to make the inquiries about his health and whatnot.
Yeah, you should.
So maybe I can figure out something there about this thing and run into you at the mine entrance.
Yeah, we'll just wait for you over there. How about that?
Don't go underground without me. I'm scared. I don't want to go.
Okay.
I heard about underground birds.
What are those?
Cavodactyls.
You gave it.
Exactly.
Cool, so we'll meet you
Right.
I'll flutter
there
off
after your
towards the
meeting with the
palace.
king.
All right, so
yeah, then we'll...
Corey goes to
towards
see the king.
Yes.
The rest of the party goes and finds the mine entrance. Is there anything the rest of the party wishes to do? I know there was some chat about potentially going and seeing Electrum, Lock, Stock, and Barrel, going to the inn, or are you just going straight to the cave?
I think we should just go straight to the cave.
Okay.
We really got a lot of
our stuff's at the
information
house,
from.
right?
Huh?
Isn't our stuff at the house though? Like we need to get all of our stuff. I didn't
Yeah,
bring
some
any
of your stuff would be at the house. You do have the food to drop off as well, if you wish.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Great. We do want to make that pit stop.
Cool. So the party, short of Corey, heads back to the house, gets the rest of their gear, hands the few pastries off to Jack, and he thanks you so much for the food and just dives into it. And you see that he's enjoying these cinnamon pastries more than one should enjoy a cinnamon pastry, as if he hasn't had one in many, many years. You see him just like leaning back and going, and it's just like, it's an all right cinnamon pastry, and he's just excited to have real food again. And he thanks you again a few times as you head out. And as you're walking, you're able to find the way to the caves because they had been reopened for touring as part of this festival. You see a few signs about cave tours and whatnot. And it leads you off to a little bit of the side of the town center. And you notice that on the flooring, as you approach the cave entrance, there's some inlaid metal beam, as if there were some tracks for carts to be pushed along, that stops just outside the cave entrance, as if they'd removed the ability to roll carts up through town to wherever they had deposited some of the gems in the past. But the metal beams and tracks lead down into the cave up ahead. The sign for tours has a big crossed out portion of it, and it says closed temporarily. And there's only just a small rope hanging in front of the cave entrance for essentially telling visitors you can't come in. There's no guards, there's nothing there preventing you, but it's closed temporarily at this time. As you made these rounds, if there's anything you wish to do here, we can. Otherwise, we can go see what Corey does with the king. All right, off to Corey. Corey, you're able to get into the grounds of the castle. They recognize you as have been there in the past few days. One of the guards even actually waves at you as he recognizes you as he was probably at the front gate potentially when you had entered the first time, and sends you on through. And as you get closer to the castle front, there's a few guards at the front, and one of them steps forward and puts a hand up as if to ask you to stop.
Excuse me, sir. What can I do for you today?
Master Corrigan Shade, Emissary Corrigan She, to see the king.
Well, the king is not in right now. He is expeditioning, so I will kindly ask you to either come back later, or you may sit in the benches in the grounds. He may be out for a few hours if you are willing to wait.
Sure. Mind if I wander the garden? I feel a little better surrounded by nature than by the tall walls.
Well, you may wander wherever you wish. We will sound a trumpet horn when the king has returned, and you may know that you can come back. But like I said, it may be multiple hours before he returns.
Thank you. Can I do an insight check on him?
Sure. Insight away.
I'll do it. That's pretty good. 24.
24. You believe that this man is telling you the truth, that he is 100% saying the king is out, as if he had just seen the king ride off moments ago. You don't feel that there's any ill intention from his speech.
Just the same, I'd like to turn into a wee little tiny snow panda moth and flutter about the castle, see if I can find him, and if I can't, head to the mine.
Yeah, so as you turn into the moth and you try to find your entrance in, there's a few windows cracked open just around the corner from the entrance that you were intending to go through. And as you make your way in, the castle is fairly quiet within. There's the same few rooms you'd been through in the foyer into the king's dining hall. You've fluttered through the king's royal meeting hall. No one's really on the grounds this morning at all. But as you get back to the sleeping quarters, you notice that there's bits of wood that seem as if a door or a wall had exploded from within one of the rooms, and it's kind of littering the hallway. And amongst some of the wood, there's a bit of like small, sappy, dark goo that seems to be scattered. Not copious amounts of it, but just like a little spray. Do you wish to enter the room to see more, or is that enough as to where you've gotten?
Yeah, I'd like to go in, but hover near the top.
Yeah, so as you enter the room, that seems to be one of the most fancy royal quarters, potentially the king's room or secondary room. It's one of the largest rooms that you have ever seen to be a bedroom. There's a small parlor, a fireplace, and the bed. The bed seems to be thrown apart as if someone had woken from a nightmare and threw pillows and blankets everywhere. The furniture isn't in a very pretty state. It looks like it's been toppled over. There's a crack through the mirror at the dresser, and there's a bit of chaos throughout the room, papers strewn about. But at the doorway, there's a small puddle of like a black tar about 3 or 4 feet from the door, and it seems that might be where whatever blew the door open had emanated. There's bits of the door still stuck to the hinges, but otherwise the door is pretty much gone. Across the walls, you see a couple little spatters of the same black tar. There's no one in the room, and it seems that whatever happened was quite messy. There's some tar on the ceiling, and there's still a drip that's like oozing down at a very slow rate. So whatever had happened wasn't hours and hours ago, but could have been maybe an hour at the most, is what you judge it to be.
Okay. I will make mental note and head to the mine.
All right. So
Or
you
not.
head. I mean,
Whatever the dog.
I guess the dog is warning of imminent doom.
Sorry.
Yeah, whoops, sorry about that. The guard dog. But as you are fluttering out of the castle, you do notice that there's a couple like hand servants that are talking and murmuring to each other, and you hear one of them say, Did you see what happened in the king's quarters? It seems as if a creature was there. And the other hand servant,
Oh no, he left quite gingerly this morning. He went and summoned his friends, and they walked out and were enjoying the walk across the gardens. Well, it's strange. At least I don't have to clean it up. Huh? Me neither. Poor soul.
and they hustle off and do their thing. But you get a little bit of confirmation that what the guard at the front had told you may be true.
Copy. I
And
fly
Glenn-
to the mines, but keep an eye out for the king's retinue.
There you go. Glenn over there, losing his mind as he was hearing the conversation he shouldn't have heard as Eldor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So party, you're chilling at the mine waiting for your final party member. And as you're hanging out there, a small cloaked figure comes kind of hobbling up towards you very quickly. The hood pulled over their head, and as they hustle up to you, they stop and begin to pull the hood back just a little bit, as if to show themselves or speak to you. Do you do anything as they're approaching? Now, the hood comes back a little bit, and you notice it's a goblin that you had met. The face is bruised on one eye, and he seems to be missing a few teeth, as if he had gotten into a pretty bad scuffle. This looks like Locke, and he pulls his hood back a little bit.
I've been trying to find you. My brothers, they got them. Can you help?
Lily is miming over there.
I said, absolutely. I'm so sorry this happened. What were you guys doing in there?
We weren't even in the mines. We were just walking past. We'd actually just gotten a few things from the shop down the road so we could make some more of the explosion barrel that we were able to launch one of my brothers in, and well, we were jumped.
By who?
I couldn't quite tell. There were a few big men in a very dark leather armor. They seemed quite fierce and a bit menacing, and they said nothing, and they were beating us up, and they took my brothers off. They threw a burlap sack over their head and walked them off, but I was able to scurry away. I've been hiding in the shadows, hoping they don't come for me.
Which way did they take them? Deep into the mines or somewhere else?
Well, we were just around the corner over by our little place. I think they came this way. They could be in the mines. They could have walked out of the city. I don't know.
Okay.
He looks around and puts his hood back over his head a little bit more, and he just kind of like tucks into the corner near you all, and just looks around a little bit.
I'm not feeling so hot. I'm fine, but like, I don't know that I can go into the caves if they're in there.
We don't want you to do that. I think you should go home
Okay.
and rest.
Okay. I'll be there. And if I'm not there, there's a small room in the inn that they call the broom closet. It's a special spot that we've purchased just for hideaway. So I'll be in the broom closet if I'm not at our base.
Sounds good. I'll go get some rest, Locke.
And he throws the hood back over himself and gives a little wave, and he hustles off with a bit of a limp. And you see him kind of go around the corner back towards their little headquarters. A few minutes later, you'll see a Corey flutter in. But if you wish to discuss what you've just seen, go for it.
So, just one more thing to deal with here. I really hope that the cult didn't take him, or take the brothers, but I kind of have a feeling that they did.
I think there's a good chance that they did.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
All right. That's all I wanted to discuss.
That's all I wanted to say.
I'm just going to keep my eyes wide open. Just going to, like,
Conversation.
stare pointedly
Corey,
at,
is
like,
your...
just everything around me. Just
Yeah. Fizz, is there anything that you wish to say, do, or think out loud? Fizz is just taking it in.
I have some potions if anybody's gonna need one, just so you know.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Like, yeah. Corey, as you're fluttering in, you kind of flutter over a small cloaked figure hobbling down the alleyway towards Lock, Stock, and Barrels. Otherwise, you see the corner where you need to go meet your party. And are you still in moth or Corey form?
I think I'm still moth form.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'd ignore the figure.
All right.
Go and land by the party and then swamp back into Corrigan.
with a nice thwomp. There's Corey.
I think
Every
I think
time,
the king. I think the king may have been attacked by some gross black ichor creature. Can't
Oh,
find
that
him.
was what was coming out of his face.
Yeah.
That was what's coming out of his
Well,
face.
then
I
he
think
exploded
that is
and
the
it's
creature.
everywhere.
I think.
Well, it's
I think
everywhere.
I think it may have attacked
His
him
people think
originally.
they
I'm
left.
not sure if that person is him. You know,
Well, I mean, either way.
should definitely
don't wanna-
see that.
They don't think he's there. They don't think he's at the castle. Says he's out. They said, what do you say? Out. I forget what they said, but it sounded like he's just out on a stroll. And I've been just been blown up. I don't want to be out on a stroll.
Yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
So maybe there's something to it.
You're a man of words. Was he being honest with you?
I mean, he certainly believed himself to be, that I could tell.
That's
But-
positive, I
We should be
guess.
Cautious.
I couldn't find anybody else, so I came here.
Wait, nobody else in the rest of the whole castle?
No one of import. Like
Okay.
the hand servants were there, but I knew we were going into the mine, so I wanted to get over here.
Yeah, where the good stuff's happening, right?
Because apparently
Where
we're
the
going to
good
go into a
stuff's
mine and fight some children. I don't really understand, but not for me, I guess. I'm little.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
How you feeling, Fizz? You're being quite quiet.
I'm just listening. I'm here.
I'm ready.
Danger Lizard will show up soon enough, I think.
Yeah.
Going into the mines. Danger Lizard. Fizz is hashtag Danger
It's all
Lizard.
been just so uneventful, so I'm just,
Ow.
I'm here.
Fizz is here. Fizz, are you still thinking about those few little errors in your map that you were falling asleep while drawing? Is that what's going on?
Maybe. Or I'm just waiting for something amazing, I guess.
That's a fantastic
Love it.
reference.
I don't know.
That's like my
What are
favorite
you
quote
waiting
ever.
for?
I don't know. Something
I guess.
amazing, I guess.
Let's go find something amazing, and then
So, as we're
light a torch.
there it is. As we're saying this, is our next story arc just going to be Memetopia or something like that? We see how many memes we could pull out and use in a D&D campaign.
Yes.
I mean, it could
I
happen.
feel like we'd be doing disservice to the world if we didn't.
Okay. And then so I've got to say, whoever can pull off the best David Goes to the Dentist,
That one's so old, though.
it is
Guys,
it's the
I
best.
did that on 10 Candles. Did anybody catch it?
I missed
Nobody caught it?
No. No.
I totally did it.
I was a little
and
busy.
No one laughed, and I was like, man, I hope someone watching laughed.
Somewhere in the
sure
middle of
someone
the central states of the United States, someone
This all
was
goes
sitting at
back
their
to-
computer
I have
laughing.
no idea what happened in that game, so
That's fair. It just all goes back to I laugh at my own jokes. No one
It all
else
goes
needs to
back
laugh.
to
They're
that,
for
yeah.
me.
Our jokes are for us. We're at a great spot. Before you guys go diving into the mines, I think everyone should take a breather, go watch a few memes, spend about 10 minutes.
Chicken wings,
Oh man, spend about 10 minutes getting your chicken wings.
hot dogs and bologna.
Oh man.
I don't even know what that is, but I'm down
Chicken
for it.
wings, chicken macaroni, chilling with my homies.
We're going on break.
Yeah.
Keep going? Okay.
It does.
It repeats
It
it.
does. Just look it up. Chicken wing, chicken wing.
It's super funny.
Something
Yeah.
annoying.
It's man. Ouch. I'm gonna. DM takes 12 points of
Memetopia
mental
doesn't have to
psychic
work, but-
damage. Memetopia.
No,
Well,
no.
I'm not ready for it. I'm not in the mindset.
I don't know if anybody is.
Oh, geez,
Is
yeah.
anybody really ready for that?
No. But you may
Yes.
go study your source material for the next 10 minutes, and we'll see what happens.
YouTube.
We'll see what happens in 10 minutes. So when you hear our little 30-second theme song, it means we're coming back. There should be quiet music playing otherwise. Yeah, we'll see you in a little bit. Have fun. Enjoy your break, everybody.
Crunch.
All of our players have memed themselves to death on this break.
And we're ready.
Across the board, instead of Sarah, we have Michelle. Instead of Glenn, we have Glennie. Instead of Jared number 2, we have Jared number 3. And instead of Lindsay, we have Yed Snil. I can't do it backwards. Whatever. All of the memes later, and a barking dog in the background. Welcome.
It's a no bones day.
Hey, more memes. No bones. No bones day. Oh man, she's howling.
What is she barking at?
Yes, Quincy
The
going on a
door.
road trip.
So she goes and sniffs the door and it scares her, and then she like barks.
Parks at the door.
Yeah, like she intentionally will go there and sniff like the crack of the door to the outside, you know, the door frame, and then she will like freak herself out, and then or she'll end up hearing like somebody in the hall.
I
Yeah.
think your dog needs a comfort dog.
I know. Our comfort dog needs a comfort dog.
I mentally can't handle a third one right now.
I'm this close to getting Hannah to sign on for another dog.
Yeah.
But in her
Dog
defense,
goes.
she doesn't want to take care of it.
Oh yeah.
Puppies are
Yeah.
hard work, and like Zelda has like this whole schedule now. It's like a thing.
Puppies are hard work.
Like class,
They
she has
are.
like training classes, and she does scent work, so we have to do those, and it's like
She interrupts our D&D streams.
Yeah.
Oh, dogs.
it's a thing.
Well,
But I got 6 stickers.
stickers.
Oh, that looks
so
good.
as we're diving back into the D&D game, there are some stickers. If you don't want a full-on hoodie or t-shirt, we got some really cool stickers on our shop. You can take a look at those. They go nicely on MacBooks, laptops, your brother's car, whatever it may be. Claim it in the name of Here Be Dragons. You can get the Dabbing Goblin from the last few seasons as a shirt, as a sticker, whatever it may be. Thank you, Sir Hoy, for sharing that with us.
Nice eyes.
And beautiful beepers there, sir.
Thing to push.
As we have technical issues on Jared's side, as he pans through all of the cameras and screens and images on his computer, we're now back to some D&D. The
Come
party. Oh, another boop. Ow.
I was told technically that one wasn't even hard enough. I'm supposed to be drawing blood apparently.
We're gonna have to remove the boop the DM because I think people are reading boop the DM as slug the DM. And I do not approve.
Sorry, Twitch made me do it.
Twitch made me do it. That won't stand up in a court of law. No, just kidding. Yeah, what? Twitch made me do it. There's proof. Logs.
Wait.
told-
Did you?
Did I what?
The show Redeemed is starting Insta musical reprieve.
Oh my gosh. That's Hoy.
It says popular TikTok dances.
Oh no.
I'm just not on my account right now, so
Oh man, Hoy, why are you on our account making me do stuff? Oh.
because we gotta generate content.
I was
Weird attack.
Jared, did you just redeem that
No,
on yourself?
Jared.
Just for fun.
So as we're getting back in, please remind me of something I might know, Lindsay, as a popular TikTok, and we'll get back into where we are. As you're thinking about it
Or
briefly,
chat your favorite
geez.
TikTok dances, because they might be different than the ones that I see. Because most of the ones I see are like dogs and cats and parrots and hedgehogs and stuff.
I'm very not coordinated,
Yeah.
and this is song. This is a musical reprieve. It's not a dance. But okay, we're diving back into the show as I'm sweating bullets as to what I'm going to sing here in a few moments. Party, you're just outside of the entrance to the mines. A very beautiful spot to be. It's at the edge of town. This looks like it's well taken care of. And the mines themselves, because they're open to the public, seem fairly well groomed, at least at the entrance. Your little goblin friend had run off. Corrigan has showed up and has filled you in on what is happening with the king, and you are thinking about going into the mines. Anything you wish to say, do, or chat about before you go into the mines?
We're just gathering information here, right? We're not like saving the day
Yeah.
or nothing. Okay.
We shouldn't be, but there's always a possibility.
There is always a possibility.
I want to cast Continual Flame on something of Eljor's without him knowing.
Does that actually burn, or does that?
It's
Just
just a
cool.
light. It's essentially just an ever-burning light. It's not doesn't do heat or
Cast it
anything.
on his whole body.
No,
'Cause he
you guys,
has-
No,
I can't see. Dang it.
Oh,
Prankster,
he's not
not
defending
malicious.
himself.
It's got to be something that he could
He's
hide.
just silent.
Something that he could hide. Eljor can't speak over there as whatever Corey cast muted his microphone.
I'm here.
What if I did it on his
I was
belt?
like, what if I hold a rock and then you use it on the rock?
What if I pretend to cast it on the rock, but the last second pivot and touch his belly button?
I don't. Boop.
So
Gotcha.
we see Eljor lifting his shirt to like cast light and then pulling it back down.
Yeah, you could hide it again.
Lifting it up and down, like doing like lantern signals.
Man,
I want to
this,
see my downstairs mixed up.
see.
Now we can see. Now we can see when we need to.
oh man, this.
Fun fact about
And
that,
then I-
Eljor. That's permanent. And then I head into the mine.
Oh boy.
No, look, I said it before. I'm going to say it again. If I'm running into kids and I have no more, you guys are like pretty scared of these children in the corn type situation, so I'm not afraid to fight.
Oh, I mean, if they've got black
Kids.
ooze
We
coming
got
out of the face.
But like,
then sure.
also, can somebody tell me like what is this children we're expecting? Like, are they children like small people like us? Are they children like orcs? Are they children like?
So I have a feeling it's gonna be a mixture of different races. But I also think that it'll probably be mostly small people.
I don't know why that would be the case.
Well,
gonna-
Are we sure the children in the underfoot are not the same thing then?
that I'm thinking there might be a connection there because what?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
No
Underfoot
connection
will run out of
whatsoever.
town. They might have gotten themselves mixed up in it, but I don't think they were the intended persons. Because from what we heard, if I remember earlier correctly, is that the Underfoot had been in the mines and fled the town upon their leader dying, presumably with something down here. So they may be involved, but I don't know if they were the original intended persons.
When did we first hear about them?
No.
What was? What was the context? We
They were
just
coming
read
to
about
steal
something.
a gym. Oh, the
Right.
children.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah,
Or
just
like we
about
read
them, and
something
then we heard.
on the back of a map or something. Or maybe,
Yeah, and then that voice confirmed the
or
existence
was sprayed,
of them.
it was graffitied somewhere maybe.
Yeah, it was a like a graffiti thing somewhere near Electrum's hideout, I believe, when you'd seen someone had like scrawled it on a wall that the children
will
are
rise
coming.
again or something. Hmm.
I have
That's
to
terrible
I have
if
to shout
these
out as you're
children-
thinking. Penguin Witch Doctor has redeemed a puppy snack time, so
Oh,
any
sorry, I
puppies
didn't
nearby are able to get crunchies. So I've got one here. If Phoenix
Len?
is nearby and you guys have something for him, there you go. Or he
I
can
don't
get
have
some
anything, so you call him.
I will do
I
it.
don't think Tesla wants a Tums.
Hang on here.
Tums.
Come here.
Well, here. As,
Len, go
as
get
you're
it.
all thinking, here we go.
Here's it.
Yikes. They both just put their faces right to the microphones as that happened, like they knew what was up.
Welcome to Puppy Snack ASMR.
This will be Zelda and Tinkerbell leading you through your experience.
Up first, kibbles. Later, bits.
I have a dog.
Later,
He
bits.
has a snack.
There it is. Thank you for the puppy snack time. That was a lot of points, so hope you enjoyed seeing all the puppies on stream and their snacking.
And some free ASMR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or-
I'll give you a Tesla snack when I refill my Tesla snacks.
there it is. Or the speakers just blew on someone's headset because they both looked into the microphone when it happened. Okay, so you go into the mines. I need to rewind a second. Do we have a glowing belly button on Eljor? Is that what actually happened?
Yes.
I mean, I intended his belt, really. Or like
Okay,
a coat,
cool.
something that he could cover up.
I can cover
Okay.
it up.
Glowing belt? I mean, you can cover up a belly button piercing pretty easily. So, there you go.
Have the dogs wave to each other?
Oh, man.
Phoenix doesn't know how to wave. We could do it for him. There we go.
There it is.
Dog
All the
friends.
dogs said hi. So we're going into the mines with a glowing belt. Let's just go with the glowing belt, not a glowing belly button. Off you go. It looks like who is in the lead? Corey, did you just go flying in? Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I guess I did.
Well,
I'll follow behind Corey.
so marching order looks like Corey, Eljor, and the Trouble Twins.
Sounds good.
Perfect. As you enter the mines, you notice that there's magical lights that adorn the walls for the first little bit. It seems less like a mine and a bit more like an experience that you would see as like touring an old house, or potentially like an arcanum where there's magical items that are set out to be seen. There's some glass plating along the wall in a few spots, and you see some names scrawled into the wall as if they were some of the original miners. There's a few plaques. A couple of them are knocked over, but as you get about 50 or 100 feet in, the magical lights are less bright and even diminished to the point where it's not pitch black, but it is darkening. So you can see a little bit ahead of you without dark vision. It's not very easy. A good solid 6 to 10 feet is probably all you can really make out
I
easily.
can see 60 feet.
Oh, you can, I know. With dark vision, I believe Lily has it as well. Eljor, I don't recall if you do or not. I
do.
Oh, you do?
Healthy
does
boy.
that mean-
Yeah.
Does that mean Corey is the only one without, or am I not recalling your
Which
character
seems
sheet?
super weird. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the Fae folks
as
don't
I'm the
see in the
Fae,
dark.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't even do like dancing lights or fairy fire. I can't do any of that at like will.
Well, you're not a
It's super
owl.
weird.
That's so weird. That should be at will.
Worst case scenario, I can produce flame and like Mario Fire Flower down hallways to see.
And it
Yeah.
just bounces down the hallway.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's why I said.
Gotta
Eldritch
make the
Fire.
sound too.
Yeah. The 8-bit bloom, 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 bloom. Yeah. So as you're walking through, It starts getting darker, but you, those of you with dark vision, notice up ahead there seems to be a little bit of a drip pattern, as if something had walked in or out of the mines dripping. The pattern is a very dark liquid, and it drips every couple feet, 3 to 5 feet roughly. It's fairly consistent, and then it turns a corner off of the main path into a small hall that looks like it leads downward. The main path seems to be a spiral that leads down a large pit. As this mine was dug out, it seems they like drilled down in their digging and left a path that was spiraling up the sides. It's not a complete drop off for you. There's some heavy rope that is on posts along the edge, and if you were to slip off of the side, it would slide down about 15 or 20 feet down to the next tier. At the top tier, it's about 150 feet across this chasm, but as you look down and in, it slowly tapers inwards. You probably could see that it goes on past your dark vision, and judging by just the little bit of space you're able to see and some of the lights that are still lit randomly throughout, this pit may go down a few hundred feet before you even reach the bottom of the mine.
Footsteps
What's that?
that are there any footsteps near the drip pattern?
Not that you can tell. The mines are pretty well swept at the moment because they were open for touring. They weren't like dirty, dusty. They were kind of cleaned off to the hard floors, the hard pack or whatever below. So the footsteps that you do notice could have been travelers walking through or anything. There's nothing that's like the killer came this way. But
It also
was,
supports, the whole idea that maybe it was a floating king.
could be,
you know.
could be anything. Could be anything. You don't notice any scrapings of like crown jewels on the ceiling as if they floated too high, so that's not something you're worrying about at the moment either. At least I wouldn't be worried about that if I didn't see like scrapes across the ceiling.
Wait, do we think the black goo is still part of the king, or are they separated? Because he said the black stuff tried to attack the king, right? So, like...
The stuff was everywhere. What I think is actually, it came from inside. Like, it was sprayed about, like, you've seen blood splatter. You know, when you take the carotid.
The call was from inside the house?
So, I don't know, though. So...
That got me. I don't know why.
Eljor's losing it. The stress of going into this cave is breaking Eljor mentally, I think.
I'm just like pulling lint out of my lit belly button.
Or if we're still speaking in memes, he's escaping! The killer is escaping!
Well, for the 6 of you who are still listening, it's just meme city tonight. And feel free to chat your favorites, and we'll join in with you. Yikes. So you're heading in, lit by belly button light and dark vision. The drips head down the small hall that seems to go steeper down, but you notice on the flooring, this seems to have been like a cart shaft. The metal rod in the floor turns down this same shaft as well, as if this was a spot that might have been a little steeper for carts to go between the levels.
So we should follow where the goo goes, right?
Or,
I think
hear me
so.
out, we could get in this cart and see where it takes us.
Like how you think.
But doesn't the goo...
Sounds like
Don't we need to follow where the goo goes? Does the cart go the
goo
direction?
goes down the cart direction.
Oh.
I mean,
Corey-
I hop in the cart.
Corey, you
I don't know
notice
where we're going, but we'll make great time.
Eljor, as you hop in, and Corey, probably having seen the cart first, this cart is barricaded in so it wouldn't be just rolled off by a random tour guest. The barricade seems to be a couple posts in the floor with a little angle bracket on top to keep it from just being easily pushed over. But it isn't something that seems unbreakable or unmovable. It's just some wood post. At the thickest, it's a couple inches thick. So you may decide to break it down, tear it out. It seems to be posts that are set in deep, so you may even be able to lift it out depending on what you all investigate on it.
Okay.
I mean, we should definitely use our time for this.
Oh yeah.
Are we climbing in the cart?
The
Gotta
cart's
move the cart
immovable at the moment.
first. So we have to work together to get it out and then set it back on the tracks on the opposite side. Or we can try and break down that little barrier that's keeping it from going forward, right?
Yeah. There's a barrier on either side so it doesn't get rolled out of the mine or rolled down into the mine. There's a little plaque on the floor that talks about mine carts and how they were used to shuffle gems, etc., etc. And it said this is the most polished and restored minecart from the era it was used. The wheels have even been fully restored for the highest speed. It says the minecarts could reach dizzying speeds of twice as fast, if not more, as you would ride a horse on a straight sprint.
So speaking from experience, Lily's not much help in situations that require force to move and open things.
Roll back a couple
It's true.
episodes, the amount of strength she put on the door.
I think
That's why we have
stronger than me.
Eldor with us.
I'm not strong.
That's why we brought the tall guy. Oh wait,
To be fair, I'm not
He's
very
dexterous.
useful either.
he's dexterous, but he doesn't
Help.
have strong.
I have a mage
Nope,
hand,
and I can use my hand. I
And I
also
can
have
throw
a
my-
mage hand.
and I can throw my hammer, but that's about it.
Hey, I mean, 2 mage hands might be the strength of Lily or Corey, so like that's an extra small person there. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Worth
I
a
would
try.
like to wait until someone's digging for like a little bit of time and they've exerted some energies, and then I'll cast Mold Earth and just move it apart.
So, what level
tumble.
spell is it?
It's a
What?
cantrip.
It's like level 1, right?
it's a cantrip.
Cantrip.
Jeez.
So
It's a cantrip?
I'll start
Yeah.
trying to work it off.
So like Eldor's there, like moving the post back and forth, trying to lift it up.
I know I'm not going to be able to do much, so I like put a mage hand in there.
Fizz is like using her little hands to like lift her mage hand up.
Oh, I'm in there too, like putting my muscles in.
Lily's underneath, like pushing up with her hands
Like,
underneath
please
it.
don't fall on me.
You're able to lift it a couple inches, but it seems to have sunk into the ground a couple feet, so it's not just an easy lift. So as you lift it up, you notice that there's still a lot more post underneath. At this time, Corey, how does your little trick look to the party?
I feel like it just. I'd like it, if possible, to like start under it and cavern out the bottom. So it's just like when like Eldor or whoever gives a big tug, it just like lets go, like. Whoomp.
Oh yeah. So as they're pushing, you
And then
you
the
just
next person-
you just push the dirt up under the posts to shove it
Yeah.
up. As you do that, Corey, can you please just roll me a straight D20?
Is a natural 1 good?
A natural 1. So as you're doing that, you're just like lifting, and you start slowly, and then you're like, I'm gonna ramp this up a little bit as you see them getting a little bit excited as it keeps lifting, and you sneeze at the point of lifting. So as you make the hand motion up, it's very quick, and it shoots this thing straight up into the ceiling above, and it shatters. And there's the post holes are completely filled straight up to the top, and bits and pieces of wood fall down around all of you. Can I get dex saves from the 3 of you who are lifting the?
I wasn't physically
post.
touching the post.
Okay, then the 2 of you physically touching the post, and then a dex save at advantage, Fizz, as you are probably near-ish. not like way across the room.
I mean, I was
15.
within 30 feet, I guess. 13.
Glenn.
Every time I like sniff or do anything, I just don't want you to have to hear that. So I always mute myself and I always forget. I gotta finish.
18. So bits and pieces drop around all of you. Fizz, one lands right between your feet. If it would have been an inch or two either way, it might have crushed one of your little toesies. But otherwise, you all are unscathed. Probably a bit shaken, but unscathed nonetheless. Corey, you realize what had happened after you finished your sneeze there. Do you let them know, or do you just let them believe it was their own might?
No, it's their fault.
It's their fault. It's their fault.
Yeah, they did it. You guys are quite strong together.
It was
Really
mostly
not.
Eljor.
Yeah.
Gonna help me move a chest
No,
later.
that's true. I just
Well-
hold my arms up and you see these like shrimpy elven arms. Lots of lean muscle, but no actual bulk. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, that was effectively a waste of time, though, because now we don't have the cart. So
No, now we know how strong I am.
he has like a false sense of confidence now.
Eljor is ready to spend 150 years growing a big beard and getting some tattoos.
It'll take that long.
Actually, oh, my cart, you broke it.
Oh no! At this point, the cart just kind of rolls forward just a little bit as it was kind of held slightly uphill. It doesn't like get out of your reach, but you can tell that you've freed it.
Wait, you said it flew up into the ceiling and
No,
shattered.
the posts. The posts flew up and shattered. The cart itself is still there.
See, she thought it too.
Sorry. If
You
my-
said
my-
it flew up.
My poor explanation, there were posts on either side of this cart sitting in the middle. And the posts were keeping the cart from rolling either way, and you guys were lifting the posts, is what I assumed you were all lifting.
Yeah, moving the barrier.
I assumed I was moving the cart, but it's okay.
Smarter, not
Oh,
harder.
so
Wait, if they
so
were
in this-
wooden posts, why didn't I just take my axe and cut the wooden posts?
In this case, what had happened is Lily was lifting the cart while Eljor was lifting the barrier, and Fizz had a mage hand in there doing something, and then it was all Eljor that just threw this thing into the ceiling. So even more reason for him to show off his muscles.
Which makes
Lily, the cart kind of pushes you a little bit then as you're like lifting it, and now you notice it's freed. And the pieces of this post come flying down around you. So you're just kind of in the midst of things, and the cart pushes you as you think you may have freed it potentially. I don't know.
I'm feeling good.
We've got some happiness in the party. So the cart is ready to be used. It will roll downwards as you lifted that gate. It will not roll up out of the cave or the mines here, as that gate has not been lifted yet.
I'll grab
Okay.
it to make sure it doesn't go anywhere and let everyone hop in first.
As we're all climbing in, I want to ready Featherfall, which I would cast on myself, Lily, and Eljor.
I believe you can cast it on up to 5 if you need, but yeah.
I know,
there's
but the
wings.
one has wings. Like,
Okay. The one has wings.
okay, you know what?
The
I'll cast it
one
on
has
them
a
just in case.
name.
The one has a name, and it's
The winged one.
the Corgi Man, the winged one, according to.
I'm
Um,
gonna prepare
Man,
Featherfall.
the winged
and have it
one.
No,
ready
I'm
on the
just
cart.
gonna cast it on. Have it ready for everyone.
All right,
But can it only be on creatures?
I believe so. Willing creatures.
Well, he said he was gonna put on the cart.
Well, that's new. That's a change.
That's new in Jared's 5.3 edition of D&D. All
I
right.
didn't know we got to make up our own rules.
That's all this
So-
game is.
It is, and you make up all your rules all the time.
you make
What's the name of this game? I win.
Dungeon Master's Guide is more like guidelines.
I win.
Dungeon Master's Dungeon Master's Guide is one sheet, and it says just guidelines. The Dungeon Master's Guidelines says the players are always right. most of the time, and that's it. It's one paper. $60 for that. It's got a nice hardcover.
Yeah.
Good job, Watsy.
Yeah, so the cart's ready. As you're all climbing in, do you notice there is one little handbrake lever in case you need to use it for slowing down at any point?
Can I test it?
Does
Make
it
sure
seem
still
like it
feels
works?
solid and usable.
As you pull it and test it, the wheels seem to cease any movement, and the cart doesn't roll anywhere. So it does seem to be hooked up and working, and not just like replica restored, etc. Penguin Witch Doctor, that's perfect. There's no the points are made up. It is the rules are made up. Yeah, perfect.
Points don't matter.
Yeah. The rules are made up and the story doesn't matter. Well, here we go. So the cart is ready to go.
Temple of Doom it.
Temple of Doom it. As you get into the cart, you may push off if you wish. There's a bit of the post that's laying up against the cart in case you need something to like shove yourself off, unless you want to do a running jump start into it. Up to you.
Well, I'm little.
So
Oh,
all the
I'm
little ones
slow.
get in. Eljor, it's up to you for kickstarting this thing.
I have a
will
potion of
kickstart
swiftness if you need it. Never mind.
Kickstart it like it's trying to break a record. I mean, I'm also pretty quick, so as long as this thing is easily movable, like, shouldn't be a problem. It's just like
So we've
get
got
going.
the Elven bobsled team here.
Yeah.
Except it's one elf.
Yeah, you know. Well, off we go. Eljor, you push this cart and it starts to roll at about a walk speed uphill. You hit the gate, but as you push it,
that's right.
it starts to roll and edge around the corner and roll down this pathway. The pathway is fairly straight. It's got a couple little curves in it. It hits a few little plateaus every so often, but you continue to pick up speed and it moves faster and faster and faster to the point where the breeze is definitely blowing hair back and starting to ripple lips a little bit as you're moving very quickly. To the best of your knowledge, you are moving faster than anyone has ridden on a horse before, and you're barreling into this mine. You
I'm
hear
like panicking.
as you're rolling through.
first roller coaster. Let's go.
And you see a
I've got a
light every so
request, guys.
often. Yeah?
Sarton, can we never say ripple lips again? I don't know why.
And Glenn, for me, it was the face Glenn was making. I couldn't handle that.
Oh, man.
I don't know why, because it's completely innocuous. It just triggered me. My brain is like, I can't get it out now.
Saliva is spraying out of people's mouth like a dog with the head out the window. Is that better?
What's
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Everyone imagine dog head out window is what's happening. And you're moving very quickly. You see a couple glimpses of light as if there was a tunnel off to the side that may have been entered. And you seem to have gone down probably at this point a few hundred feet. You would probably all assume you're hopefully halfway there after about 20 seconds of this ride.
How would we know what halfway is?
Based on the understanding that at least Fizz might have had.
I've never been in a mine. I do the like proper work.
Oh.
I'm not a laborer.
So architecturally, Fizz has no idea how far they're going. She just knows how to draw up little mechanisms and things. And
I craft. I'm an artisan.
all right, Fizz has no idea how deep they are into this mine. So none of you know. You're just flying along. But up ahead, as you make a curve, you notice there's a blue glow. You hit a plateau and you slow down a bit more to about a horse. Just higher than gallop, not quite slowed down to a low speed, but your eyes aren't burning from wind blowing them back into the back of your eye sockets. And it's kind of musty in smell down here. It seems a bit less taken care of, especially as people didn't expect someone to ride a cart down the mine shaft. But instead, you see this light ahead, and as you slow down to a nice roll, you go over this cavern, and you can see deep into this cavern, there's a few glowing lights down below. Off to your right, you seem to see the main, spiral that was the mine path down. There's a few lights that are off to your right, and the spiral seems to only be about 10 or 15 feet wide. So you, at that point, you all think you're much closer to the bottom. And so as you look ahead, this blue glow is in the tunnel up ahead, and the cart hits something on the pathway, and sparks fly behind the cart, and it makes a loud screech and slows down very quickly to almost a stop. On either side of you, there's tunnel wall about a foot or so out. Back behind you now, about 20 or so feet, you can go back towards the lower level walk path. Up ahead is that blue glow, and it seems to be about 50, 60 feet ahead. So you're kind of in
the same color as the other lights that we've seen?
It's a little bit different. It's a very dark blue. The other lights are like blues and purples and pinks, and they're very like localized, like a candle flame. The glow ahead seems to be like a big glow off of something large, but not as luminous. So you're basically stopped in a little bit of a shaft here.
You should be real quiet.
What? What?
You should be very quiet.
I can't hear you.
You should be very quiet.
Well, gosh, man, if you're not going to speak up.
We can hear you, Glenn. Your mic works, but Fizz is just being Fizz.
A butthead.
Fizz is being a butthead. Butthead.
Which way should we go?
Fizz shouts out. It echoes in this corridor here.
Who's crazy?
The nose goes at this point. Eljor gets a twitch to his eye, visibly at this point.
What if we just went that way? At me? What if we just went that way? Sneaky.
You go that way. I'll go home.
You don't have a home.
Low
Yeah, you're
blow.
right.
That was rude.
Yeah. I can't speak lies.
Yeah, should we go towards the light or not?
Yes.
Where else do we go?
We're trying to find out information.
True.
We
Else
are,
we're just
but
riding around in the mine cart.
Which way did the drips
we're
go?
not trying to die.
Oh yeah, look for the drips. Can we make a perception check, Dungeon Master?
Yes, you may make perception checks at this point.
Thank you.
You may also investigate if you wish.
Why is everyone whispering?
And when I do that, I'm going to have Mage Hand cast, but mine's invisible, and it's just going to cover her mouth. Because I'm a Mage Hand Ledgerman.
Fizz, you feel a hand on your face.
I go,
It's muffled.
and I think there's something like attacking me that they can't see, right? So I'm like freaking out and like looking for my dagger.
It's me. Watch. And then I make it visible, and then I go.
Now you see a slight glow of a hand holding your mouth, and you recognize that to be a mage hand.
And I make obscene kobold hand gestures.
Obscene kobold hand gestures.
Whatever those look like. And then What is it?
Love
What do they
it.
do in
Love
the
it.
worst
Friends?
adventurer.
What is this?
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of them, yeah.
Man.
Like my
Yeah.
thumb at you, sir.
So Fizz is all sorts of like visually upset at Eljor here, but still restrained by the mage hand as she's stomping around and making a bit of a fuss.
Well, I'll remove it.
Are you sure you want to
I'll
do
remove
that?
Are you sure you want to do that?
In
jeez.
the mine where the children have awoken and you're mad about the mage hand?
You almost killed me, man!
Shut up!
The mage hand goes right back onto her face.
Yes, it does. It also casts Unseen Servant, and he holds her in place. I burned one of my 3 spell slots for Unseen Servant.
Fizz,
Well, that's on you.
You're just like being held, and are kind of just trapped up. Your arms are up against your body, and you feel that you're being held.
I take a level in Barbarian and start to rage.
fair.
No.
To be fair, it can only provide 10 pounds of pressure. It's not very strong. But
Well,
it's
neither am I, so it's okay.
Neither is Fizz. There's 20 pounds of pressure between the mage hand and the unseen servant that's holding
Yeah.
Fizz back, and that's all that's needed for a little kobold.
Like, I literally can't roll a nat 20 on strength. Like, it's literally not possible.
You can roll a nat 20, but you have
No, because I have a negative modifier, so when I
modifier.
roll a 20, it's a 19.
It's still a nat, but yeah, you know. All right. Well,
I also have a -1 to strength, which is why I'm using my magic to restrain you.
my magic, because my real hands won't do much. So we've got a restrained kobold. The rest of the party is now looking for these drips, with Fizz kind of just like mumbling and being grumpy.
Can it at least carry me along with the group? Like, I don't want to be stuck here by myself.
Sure, you weigh what, 27 pounds?
I can look up my weight for you if you need.
You can use your fate.
You could use your...
Well, no, he's holding me in place.
Mostly,
Oh no,
yeah.
I was trying to calm you down. It wouldn't continue to hold you there.
Oh,
if we
no,
move
it did
forward.
not calm me down.
Fizz, your color is now bright red. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm no longer like this golden brown
She
color.
has an eye tick now.
She has an eye tick. Eldor has an eye tick. You're deep in these
Yeah, no, I'm
lines.
literally
All very
27 pounds.
careful.
The children have awoken. You know,
Well,
it's just
the Unseen Servant has a strength of 2, so it's very, very, very weak.
oh yeah. So Fizz, you could probably break out of it.
What do
maybe.
I roll a strength check?
You could roll a strength check against its
Against my
strength.
-4.
Yeah. So let's.
I got a 2!
A 2 now.
Let's see if I roll higher than a 6, because with a -4,
The odds are in your favor.
just stop on that 19. Yeah. I think it's a 19 on the die, so yeah, 15.
So Fizz tries to break free, but can't make it at the moment. Now that we've spent a few minutes restraining our danger
So
lizard,
now I'm like, but like the hand is there, so I feel like I can't breathe.
But it's invisible and like formless, so you can still breathe through it. You can just still feel it there. It's like a good mask.
it's like a good mask.
So I'm just breathing in carbon dioxide. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Ooh.
It's not real. It was a joke. Sorry.
All right.
I did roll a 16 on investigation.
16 on investigation. Anyone else rolling on this as Eljor is trying to restrain our kobold from her
I'm
panic attack?
Moving on to other things.
I think I rolled a perception
yeah,
check
whatever.
earlier.
Are we
yeah, I
rolling
got a
investigation
7
or
for
perception?
Either.
Okay, well, I roll investigation. I get a 23, so I just point to the drifts.
Point.
As you have calmed her down, the fit of rage has like focused her a bit, and with her little hand she just kind of points up underneath the restraint, and all of you are able to use that and your rolls and notice that there's some drips that lead towards this this blue glow, But you also notice that there's some drips that lead back and seem to go around the corner towards like the bottom of the pit. So you don't know if they came from or went to this blue glow, but they also went towards like the bottom of the spiral pit that led upwards.
The blue glow then. Yeah.
And I just point at Fizz and go, good.
And I just glare. By the way,
Uh-huh.
Penguin McDoctor made a very important visual note that I have a muzzle, like not like a human mouth, like have like a snout.
Yeah, like a snout, yeah.
So the hand would be clamping it down, like you know, like when they tape the alligator mouth shut. It's like
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the question. Like, what's the jaw opening strength versus the closing? Like, can he simply just hold it shut?
I mean,
Like
even
you
if
can
it
with
was
a
snout, I
gator?
think I would
Or-
just be doing this. Because, you know, like, I don't want to be that forceful with my mage hand, you know, like, it was just to try and get things reeled in. It was not to exacerbate the whole situation.
But
like
if you
it
go
did.
like this, that's not gonna stop me. So you would have had to like close the
I
muzzle.
honestly wouldn't have done more, honestly.
That's
I think.
fine.
I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna muzzle a kobold. That feels like a terrible idea. I think they would hate me for life. And I don't want you to hate me. I just want you to stop talking.
I you know.
to not give away your
So loud.
position. All right. So you've been pointed in both directions. Fizz is not steaming from her ears at the moment. So
Pointed
we're-
in both directions. What do you mean?
So, Fizz, you had pointed up ahead.
To the drips, wherever the
toward
drips
the
are.
drips that went towards the blue glow up ahead where the cart was going.
Yeah.
Lily, with her perception, had noticed that they kind of also had gone down the track behind you and led a little bit off to like the bottom of the spiral walk path.
Well, that's not fair. I couldn't have seen that. I'm restrained.
You didn't see both. You just saw the ones that went straight ahead. So between
belly
the two
came
of
up
you,
and you saw him.
between the two of you, you noticed they had come or gone from the blue glow into the walk path.
Do we
portion.
see it double anywhere?
Double as if like they went back and forth?
Yeah.
Not that you notice. The drips are continuing to be about the same size and consistency of the other ones. So every 3 to 5 feet, just a drip or two. Not anything bigger or smaller than before, as if it's a very consistent, whatever it is, has a steady drip to it. Not that it's like emptied or filled in any manner comparative to where you saw it up top.
I say we go towards the blue light.
I thought we made
Yeah.
that up a while ago.
Yeah, no,
I was
I
waiting
agree
forever
with
what
you.
that was to finish out.
I know. I'm sorry. I may have just made it worse. I'm sorry, Fizz.
Okay. I want to wrap myself in my cloak and stealth forward
All right.
toward the blue light.
Towards the blue light. Anyone follow
Are you
behind?
butting me right now?
You have a stealth of a advantage with your cloak.
Good, because that's my like third or fourth natural one today. That's better.
Oh yeah, we go to old stealth.
If you wish. You don't have to.
Oh, I'm gonna stealth. I gotta be quiet.
Yeah, stealth.
My best. I have a +8 to stealth. I got a 10.
A 10 total. All
I
right.
have a +8.
Oof.
Do the
Uh,
math.
Yikes. Homeschooled, I think you rolled a 17. Lily,
That's it.
Corey. Lily, Corey, Fizz. What were your rolls?
19.
19.
I need a second.
Am I moving, or do I think I'm still restrained?
Oh, I would absolutely let you go. The unseen servant is just gonna follow behind us now.
Okay. So you're let go as you've like huffed and puffed a second.
Has he turned around?
Eljor? Yeah,
Yeah.
he started walking behind our cloaked friend who rolled an
So,
19,
like
Corey.
the 5-year-old that I am,
Uh-huh.
I run up behind him and I punch him in the back of the knee.
Which I guess
Oh.
equates to the roll that you had gotten. As you start stealthing away, Fizz just like hops over.
No.
and-
So you do that thing where like your one knee gives out and you're like, not like I'm not trying to like hurt you, just like be a little
Tore
asshole.
my meniscus.
Well, she punches you in the back of the knee, and your stealth walk drops you to your knee and causes you to kind of topple forward a little bit. Fizz, you didn't roll stealth on that, you just jumped out.
No, I guess I wasn't thinking about stealth.
Fizz wasn't thinking about stealth.
Just
And then
revenge.
Lily,
It was just
Lily got an 18.
an 18.
The
So
two of us that were. Yeah, okay, great. Makes sense.
Lily and Corey are moving ahead fairly quietly, and just behind both of you, you hear thump, ah! And you're able to turn and see Eldor kind of drop to a knee, and Fizz just standing behind.
and I puff up kind of like proud of myself.
Fizz is just like standing behind like a proud little kobold, like she
Just
took
say,
down her
"Even
aggressor.
Even.
Even. She
Good.
just stares at him. Is that what's going on?
Okay. I'm gonna just. And I'll just say, ladies first.
Ladies first, Fizz. You've been offered to go ahead.
Or just look at him as I go by.
Just she walks past you and just
I'm
stares
yeah,
you
I'm
down.
like
the little bit of commotion in there kind of echoes through the cave behind the two that are stealthing, but it doesn't seem to alert anyone or anything ahead, at least not yet. So there's no response. There's nothing that appears or scurries off. You seem to be in a good spot. You don't hear anything behind you either. So despite the commotion of the cart coming to a stop and screeching and scraping, and then the tussle in the cart, and then the little revenge moment there, you believe to be alone down here at the moment. Carry on, or right as you carry on, you move into a room that has a bunch of cobwebs in it. Definitely one that wasn't cleared for people to be traversing through in the tours. There's a few broken down carts off to the sides. This seems to be a spot where gems were loaded in from all areas. On the walls, you notice that there's some tubing and metal piping that's a bit corroded and rusted out. But it seems like there was chutes and shafts to bring gems from all areas of the mine to this spot, and carts would be sent back upwards. There's actually a couple gems on the ground that are very dusty. They're small. The largest one is about a golf ball size. The smallest one is about something you'd see on a ring. There's about 4 or 5 of them laying about.
I use Mage Hand to just pick them up quietly and
Eljor-
invisibly.
Eljor scoops up
least
the few gems here, or one of them. They're all within grasp of each of you. They're strewn across the floor. Do you wish to do anything in this room, or do you follow through the hallway up ahead that has the blue glow coming from it?
I'm trying to be polite, and if nobody else picks up any more, I'm just gonna get the rest of them.
They're shiny rings.
I will-
They're gems.
They're like
Oh.
dusty gems.
They're dusty, but they've
I
got a little bit
definitely-
of glow below.
Well, of course I'm picking them up.
Want to pick some up.
Okay.
But I didn't
Eljor-
realize how many there were.
There's like 5 or 6 strewn throughout the room. So Eljor,
okay,
you're
okay.
able to pick one up. Do you go for largest, smallest, medium size? As you've cast your mage hand and are like grabbing immediately.
I will get the biggest one and have it float up to Fizz.
Oh, so
And then I'll
Fizz, the largest
pick up
gem
Small
gets
one.
the largest gem gets floated in front of you, Fizz.
My eyes are just like big and like going cross-eyed as I like stare
As it
at
floats
it.
in front of you. It is a very, very
Like a
deep
boo in the
purple
Cave of
gem.
Wonders.
A boo in the Cave of
Exactly,
Wonders.
exactly.
Do you even make that sound? Just-
I don't know. I probably make some sort of kobold sound.
Your jaw drops open there. Some sort of kobold sound. There it is. That's the meme clip there. So you get a deep purple gemstone. It's about the size of, to you, almost the size of your fist, Fizz. Uh, Eljor picks up a bright yellow gemstone that's about an inch in any direction. It's uncut, so it's very jagged, but it's a nice little gemstone. Lily, you're able to pick up a very deep green gemstone. It's about an inch and a half in any direction. Again, that one needs some cutting to refine it a bit more. There's a couple little shards still left on the ground. Corey, did you go for anything, or are you just moving ahead?
I'm keeping my eyes out and up, like out and eye line for people looking for. I'm more concerned about creatures.
Yeah.
I don't care about material goods.
All right, Corey, can you roll a perception for me at advantage as you are still stealthed, just to see if anything is seen in this room?
I'm betting natural one. No, it's not. Oh yeah, I'm super perceptive. 24.
24. Corey, you're able to see into some of these little shafts and tubings that come into the room. One of them has a bit of like soft refuse in it, things that might be bits of cloth or like hay or paper. It looks like there may have been some rodents that had nested down here, but it is dusted over, so they might not have been here for a handful of years. Otherwise, you don't notice any signs of creature or motion through here. The floors are dusty, so you do notice there have been some footsteps through here, probably in the last couple of weeks. The dust is a little bit brushed through, but you can't quite make a date on how recent that was, but it wasn't that long ago, to the best of your knowledge.
Okay. I'll share that. It's like it doesn't look like anyone's been here in at least a few days.
That's
At least
good,
walking
right?
through here. So just do what you want with that information. Have fun stuffing your pockets like a little
Oh,
goblin.
there's one for you as well.
Don't
I
you
don't
ever
need it.
call me a goblin again. You watch yourself.
Fizz is...
Well, because kobolds don't get along with goblins, from what I read,
I think we
right?
found him something. We're onto something.
We're on to
He's a
something.
straight goblin.
What?
Poke the kobold. Instead
What?
of poking the bear, it's poking the kobold.
What?
Dangerous game, that is.
Yeah. So the couple remaining pieces of gemstone, there's a little piece of bright red gem, a little piece of bright blue gem, and another piece of like a medium toned green, somewhat like a hunter green. They're all about the size of like a pinky nail of a standard sized human. So nothing too huge, but still a nice little gemstone if you were to place it on something. Whoever wishes to collect them, go for it. Add them to your pack. If you wish to leave them be, doesn't matter. But the three of you who have a gemstone have a large-ish gemstone that you've noted. Carrying forward into the next room, there's a short hallway that leads into the room, about 8 feet, and it leads into another similar-sized room. This one doesn't have any tubing or carts. The cart path actually stopped in the last room, and this seems to have been potentially a spot that was for cleaning up gemstones or additional work. There's remnants of a work table in the center that have seemed to collapsed in the center. So the table is kind of split in half and dropped in the middle, mostly seeming to be age. The wood is falling apart. At best, you think you could probably put a bit of pressure from your hand before it just continues to crumble and collapse. But in the center where it had collapsed is a large gemstone about the size of a human head, very similar to the size and shape of the one that Fizz is carrying with the eyeball in it. But there's nothing within this gemstone. It is empty and blue in glow, very light blue.
Is this where the glow is coming from?
Yes.
Can I
and
go touch it?
as you're looking at it, there is no dust on top of this gemstone itself. There's dust on everything else, but there doesn't seem to even be like someone had come in and dusted it and kept it clean. But the gemstone itself is either consuming the dust or knocking the dust off of itself, or something else is influencing it. And so the gem looks like it was just placed there seconds ago in terms of cleanliness. And you can see right through it. It is so crystal clear. Fizz decides she wants to walk up and touch it. So you see her walking forward and reaching her hand out to this beautiful gem. The hallway does continue down just a little bit into another room. But there's no glows from that room. It is actually a very dark space a little bit ahead. Those of you with dark vision notice that it seems to be another work room like this, but there's no blue glow. Fizz. If anyone wishes to restrain her, I just saw Eljor going, no! Otherwise, Fizz is reaching out to touch this thing. Oh. Okay,
that was the sound that the mouth made in the Cave of Wonders. That was like the tiger. It just like yelled out when a bee touched the big thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So as Fizz reaches out and touches this gem, Fizz, your little claw like sinks into the gem, and as you touch the gem and your claw goes into it, the room brightens up for you and you alone.
So I start to squint?
And you start to squint a little bit, but it seems to be like lights on the walls that weren't there. And as you do, you start to hear voices. You hear some distant murmurs and tones of voices that seem like they should be in the room based on their placement, but they're just like ethereal of sorts, like almost in the back of your head. And you hear,
The children are ready to take over the town, my lord.
And then a deep guttural,
Let them slumber 100 years more.
Can I think, where are they?
As you think out, where are they? It just seems to stay within your head, as if you're just glimpsing a conversation in the room that may have happened, and your claw is still sunk into this gem just a little bit. The rest of you see Fizz with her claw in the gem kind of stand up straight a little bit and look up as if she's hearing or seeing something, as she's taking in what is going on in her head.
I'll walk up and just kind of touch her shoulder and be like, you okay, Fizz?
Fizz, you feel and hear this as if like these two worlds are intertwined at this very moment for you.
And I like look at him and I'm like, yeah?
You keep your claw in the...
Well, yeah, I know I haven't, because my intent was to grab the stone, but like...
So she responds,
good.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
Fizz, the room looks a lot less dusty. The table is still broken in the center. You notice no one else in the room, but it seems like you're seeing an earlier version of this place.
But I can see Eljor, right?
Yeah, you can see Eljor. You can see your friends there, as if they're there with you in whatever change the room has taken.
I'm like, touch it.
So Fizz has her claw kind of sunk into this gem. You see her claw is in it, and to the rest of you, it doesn't look like she stuck it in like a gel or a liquid. It looks like the gemstone was formed around her hand. Like it's so perfectly fit around her hand that you feel like if she pulled her hand back, the stone would come with it. Like she was a part of it, but she's requesting that you touch the stone.
Because I feel like I can just pull my hand.
Yeah, Fizz, you feel like you've just kind of stuck your hand into a bowl of lukewarm liquid. Like nothing has changed.
It feels kind of nice.
It feels like someone left a bowl of water out and you just stuck your hand in it unintentionally, not like it's trying to consume you at all.
I try to touch the stone?
Eldor, you put your hand right into the stone just like her, and you hear a bit more conversation. Fizz hears the same exact thing at the same time. The room brightens up, the dust disappears for you. The rest of your party is still there, but you hear more conversation, and picks up. Once they've awoken, they may consume the town, and eventually the country. Yes, my lord. I will make sure they sleep for another 100 years. The next festival in many, many years of harvest should be, the one that we need. Yes, the harvest festivals. Wait for the 7th one. At that time, the lands will be rich.
I'm going, wow, they talked a lot more this time. So I'm like, hey, come touch it. One of you, come touch it.
Okay.
Fishes,
yeah.
come here.
Just look at
Do we
Lily.
recognize
I
either of
just-
these people either?
You don't see where the voices are coming from. Fizz, the voices
Oh.
are closer to you at this point. It feels like two beings talking in this room, but it's like in the back of your head, as if a very poor surround sound system were to be in your living room,
I think
and
my-
you can't place
I
it.
think my desire for the shiny object has shifted into my desire of this is really interesting. I want to understand
Yeah,
this
okay,
because I have
okay.
that. So yeah, she
I
said she came
definitely-
touch me.
Yeah, I definitely feel that shift because at first I was like, I don't know because I don't know what's going on. But now that you're both touching it and you're like, yeah, let's do this. Now I feel more confident. I'm going to go in and put my hand on it.
He's probably
Cool.
looking
You-
how I did after the first one, right?
You get the same exact experience, like putting a hand in a bowl of water. The gemstone, however, when you're all noticing it in front of you, is just kind of like a wavy image, like a mirage almost. But now to Corey, is they're the only one without their hand in the gemstone. It looks like all of the hands of your party are just lodged in this gem and permanently part of it. For how much ever they have put their fingertips or full hand into.
But they're still moving and
They're still moving and talking, they're whatever they're experiencing is in this place right now for them, but not for you,
But
as you're not touching it.
did it say anything new when she touched it?
Yes. So the conversation seems to go a little bit further. The room is almost pristine at this point, and it's brighter, not in the sense of blinding brighter, but you believe you see glowing lights on the walls, and you see some vague rippling shadowy figures in the room. You can't quite tell who or what, but you start to see two figures speaking across this table.
Nice.
One of them leans in and puts their hands on where the table would have been standing upright, kind of above Fizz at this point, and is talking to someone in what seems to be a chair that's no longer there in the room in the back corner. The big, deep, booming voice that seems to be calling out the shots is from the chair, and the one leaning over the table is the one that's taking the orders. And you hear, "Once we are able to secure this country, we may release the children upon the world. How many do we have now, Captain?" And the other voice, "By my thoughts and my calculations, with this last batch, we should have 300. These souls will be here for 100 years, you say?" "Yes, 100 years of slumber." And that's where the conversation stops and the room kind of loses a little bit of the brightness. It's still not back to where it was when you entered the room physically, but it seems to have stopped whatever conversation in motion forward. 3 hands in this gemstone. Corey not having heard any of this conversation, and each of you hearing more and more of the conversation.
Corey, come
Yeah,
here.
I feel like I don't not touching it. I think one of us should.
Oh,
should not.
No, but every time
Corey, touch it!
you're more
We need
fast.
more information!
What if y'all are stuck in there?
Can I try and pull my hand off?
Eldor, as you pull your hand out, it removes freely from the gem, and you're dropped back into the dusty mustiness of the room, the darkness, the cobwebs hanging from the ceiling. The chair in the corner that you had kind of understood is gone. To Lily and Fizz, the chair disappears, and the figures that were in the room disappear. As if the lack of having Eldor's hand in there has removed some of the power that was bringing this all to life.
Okay.
Nothing changes in your conversation that you've heard. You don't get anything more. You don't forget any of the stuff that had happened. But the room is just a little less bright for the two of you with hands in the gem. Eldor, you get a weird like trickle down your spine as if something was in the room here with you and just kind of rushed past like a cold breeze. But you're the only one that feels it. Most likely to your thoughts, potentially, that you just came out of whatever this other space was. But I would say, as a DM, I would be unsettled by this, but your character may choose to do what they wish here.
Sure is the less to be afraid of and more to be interested in, but this is a dark place. No, I say, Corey, it looks like if we're all here touching it, we learn more information about what may or may not have happened here. So none of us will be angry if you choose not to, but we may learn something that may help us figure out what's going on and how to stop it, because so far I now know that there's 300 of these lost children, and they plan on releasing them in the world once they destroy the city.
Well, 2 questions. One, I saw you. It's more of a statement. I saw you take your hand out, so I'm put at ease there. But also that big gem there, and those little gems that you've picked up. What are they compared and contrasted? Are they just size difference, or do they look the same?
I don't know.
So the gemstones picked up, and then this gemstone in the middle of the room. The gemstones picked up have a very, very light murkiness about them, a little bit of impurities, as if they were mined around edges of a main vein. But the gemstone in the middle of the room looks as if it was like the dead center of the most pure vein of gems that one could have possibly found. With its size, one would expect some form of impurity within it, but there is absolutely none to be found. Not a speck of dust, not a speck of dirt, nothing out of the ordinary. It seems like this is like the most perfect piece of gemstone that one could lay eyes on, but couldn't lay hands on.
Corey, please touch the rock.
But they're not like the same shape or anything. They are like mined gemstone chunks.
The one in the middle of the room doesn't look like it's been tended to much, but it seems to have more precise edges to it. Unnatural to how someone may cut it unless they're very artistic. So it seems to have broken off of the best of your knowledge. If you in the Fey realm had seen like a growth of gem sticking out of a cave, it looks like almost the tip of that or an edge piece had broken off. So it's got some precision to it, but more a natural precision versus a human precision.
Okay. All right. That's. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just like the same gem smaller.
No. It's definitely like a very, very natural perfection in the middle of the room that has little man-made influence.
All right. I'll touch it. But for some reason, I'm very, very on edge about potentially portals taking me somewhere I'm not intended to be. And then I'll touch this middle room gem thing.
Eldor, do you touch the stone as well?
Yeah.
All right, Eldor, you put your hand in, and nothing changes about the room. It goes back to exactly where you had left it. To the two ladies who had their hands in, the room brightens back up just a little bit more, and like some of the figures are ghostly where they were when Eldor had his hand in previously, and then when Corey puts their hand in, you hear a bit more conversation. And while the figures aren't quite visible, they're almost like someone went into witness protection. There's like just outlines of creatures here that you can't quite tell who or what they are. But it's the closest to what you believe you could understand them to be. And the conversation continues forward. We must ensure we have someone to wake them.
I've already thought about that, sir. I've struck an accord with a local farmer. We'll get his family into the royal house, and as long as we can have his bloodline, we can have our servant.
And that's where it stops for the conversation. The figure that was leaning over the table walks off back through the hall that you had come from, and the room not dims, but just kind of almost stops, as if the recording or the capture of this moment had stopped. The dark figure in the corner, the waviness to them just pauses, and they just fade a little bit. The brightness of the room stays fairly bright, as if 3 of the 4 hands were in. So when Eldor had his hand in, it goes back down to that brightness. You can kind of see down each of the halls. The room that you had yet to enter further down, you can notice that there is a map on the wall that is drawn, and it looks like a bit of the countryside. And there's some like red arrowing pointing to the River Horuk, which is where the town sits alongside. And you can see that there's some big arrows. It seems to be that the river may have been used, or may have been planned to be used for dispersion of these children. There's a line following the main road to the north, and then a couple little lines offshooting. And that's the best you can understand. You can only see a little bit of this area, but it looks like almost a battle plan or a deployment plan for whatever was going on. And that map, as far as those of you who can see in the dark can understand, was not there in the physical world around you previously.
Where'd all this stuff go?
No, I think you should make note of that map. Do you think you could copy it?
That's a good
hand's
idea.
Still in.
I'll
might
hold the
need some-
paper, and you can hold one
Well,
hand.
I need
draw
like
it as
a
we stand.
I need like a table, and like I need to be able to switch out my tool, like my pens, and it would take a little bit of time.
Could
Not a
you do
mage
that
hand?
That's okay.
one-handed?
I mean, I could draw one-handed if I had all the necessary accommodation.
Okay, so are there any spare pieces of wood lying around?
The table that this piece is on, it looks like the legs could be ripped off pretty easily. The main part that you could get for Fizz would be fairly flat, potentially a little flimsy if she put too much weight on it, but still like a flat surface for her to draw on.
Okay,
Now, this
let's
is
do
all
that.
this is all to say that if you wish to continue, to the best of any of your beliefs, you believe if you remove a hand, you're going to lose some of like the light down the tunnel that shows this map. So
Yeah.
all of this is like working together, one hand from each of you.
So
one
I'll
hand in
need
this
somebody to like really steadily hold the board. I'll need somebody to hold up my different pens so I can switch out the pens.
I've got an unseen servant with 2 hands, and I've
Yep.
got a mage hand. So
Okay. Yeah.
I can help a lot.
So maybe your servant should hold the board because he can support it the most, and you guys are just gonna have to like
Between Eldor,
hang with it for a while.
Between Eldor, the unseen servant, and the mage hand, they can rotate the table. They can break it down a little bit and get it in a spot where you've got like even just a slanted drawing board, even. And it'll only take a couple moments given the fragility of the pieces. I would probably say once that's set up, the unseen servant and the mage hand would probably be best used to keep the table from collapsing from any push from Fizz. So if any of you needs to reach into bags or provide paper, quills, etc., That's setting Fizz up. Now, Fizz, I'm assuming, as most people and creatures do, they use their dominant hand to engage with something.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean your non-dominant hand is free, or are you ambidextrous? What is your fizziness?
Never specified. Being an artisan and thinking of my own personal experience, I think there's a bit of ambidextrous, but I imagined like I'm personally right-handed, so I imagine my character right-handed.
Okay, so you'll be working with your left hand, and you'll be.
Wait, I imagine I put my left hand in though.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you're saying you
Like
you
the
should
way
be-
I
okay.
operate, like if I do something like that, I don't use my dominant hand. Like I don't get injections in my dominant arm.
Okay, so Fizz, you don't have any issue replicating this to the best of what you can see, but it'll take a couple minutes for Fizz to do that.
It'll take probably more than a couple minutes.
All right. Give me a time that you think Fizz would take to draw this map out for the party.
Well,
to keep their...
I mean, it depends on how detailed it is and how detailed you want me to be.
Party. She's asking you to weigh in. How detailed do you need this map?
I don't need it super detailed, but I do need to know.
Accurate. Yeah, that's accuracy, is it?
Yeah.
Question.
Answer daily.
I just don't know if I can do this with Druidcraft.
Okay.
Henna is technically ink from plants, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Druidcraft lets you make a 24-hour kind of permanent kind of vibe thing.
Uh-huh.
Could I create a thing on the paper that she could then trace in a more protected environment?
But would you have to do the henna
Would it
though?
hold? No, you just create it with the Druidcraft.
It's just like a
It's a
projection.
magical. Yeah, it's like a magical thing. I just don't know if it would like last till we got out.
Well, I mean,
To a
henna
more protected thing.
itself lasts multiple days on skin.
But does it rub off on stuff?
Yeah, it does a little bit, but the thing is, if you're putting it on paper for her to trace and you roll it up nicely,
And I'm skilled to do it. Like, if he just projects it right onto my paper and then I just do it, like I ink over it.
yeah, I will allow it. I will need a perception. A perception.
Do I trust that it's going to be accurate?
Well, here's the thing. We can have, if Corey decides that they want to put this on your paper, you can verify the accuracy because
I guess I can check it before I...
yeah. And if you need to, now you're halfway there. You can always ink in things that are inaccurate.
Yeah.
So Corey, let's have your perception. Because you have others around you, you can have someone help, or if you have a nat 20 to use, you may use this now. Corey,
What is
does
he
that
rolling
look?
on? What is he rolling?
A
Perception.
perception to see if he can perceive the map well enough.
How would he get help with that?
Wait,
Is it a
I
roll?
lift up my shirt.
I can't quite tell what that is. Is that a 20?
I'm trying. It is.
It's a 20.
There it goes. It's a nat 20.
I was
So-
gonna say, I also lift up my shirt.
So with the belly button light, belly button light,
incentivized.
and the roll, Fizz, you see like this dark brown ink appear on your paper, almost identical to what you're seeing, but because Corey's just a little bit shifted off and doesn't get quite everything, there's a probably 2-inch gap on the left side that you might need to sketch in if you wish. There doesn't seem to be a lot of data there. It just goes down the river, and there's one red arrow that goes to what seems to be a dot on the map that you can't quite make the name out. Potentially a town.
Okay. So I start over there. If I move a little bit, can I see? Or...
You can move a little bit. You see that there's a name. You can't quite make it out, but it seems to be off the main path. Probably a half day's trek.
Okay. Like, I'll make note of it, obviously, but...
So Fizz fills in the spots that Corey couldn't see, but for the most part, it's a near replication of what the party can see of that map, including some lighter brown lines for where the red is, the tree details, almost perfect layout of the river. Fizz notices that a couple of the ripples on the river are a little flatter than they were on the map in the back.
I adjust that.
But she adds a little bit of a peak to some of them, just so it's almost identical. Fizz, your ink is a blackish color,
Yeah.
and it augments the dark brown and light browns on the paper. And
But when I'm drawing, like when I'm done, you can't even see what was there before.
do you wish to complete it right now, or do you wish to complete
Well,
it
yeah,
elsewhere?
because I know it's only gonna last a couple days, and I don't want it to like I don't know what's going on, so I'm gonna work on it now.
Okay. At that point, Fizz and the rest of you, since the world isn't changing around you, I believe you may all think it to be safe to remove hands from the gem if you wish, unless you want to stay in the brighter realm and work one-handed.
I did have one question.
Yeah.
That voice, did that voice of like the master kind of person in that kind of flashback sound similar to the voice that came out of the prince when I questioned him about his brother?
History check, please.
Cool. I'm on the right path. I smell it.
There, to allow you all to roll on any other history checks, there was a booming voice that was heard during the light show as well.
Looks like a 12?
12. It had a very similar tonality, but you can't quite be sure if it was the same.
Okay.
It definitely had a same dark undertone to it, a non-natural sounding, as the two voices you'd heard seemed to be augmented by some magical or tormented undertone.
Can I roll a history check for the booming voice
Yeah.
that was at the explosion?
Yep.
10.
10. You two believe it had a very similar tone to either of the voices because it had some
Okay.
unnatural, magical enhanced tonality, the deepness, the gruffness, but you can't place if it was one or the other or someone else with a similar magical enchantment on them.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, or is Fizz working in the dark?
I mean,
Yeah,
I have
dark
dark
buttons,
vision.
Yeah.
Belly
should be
button.
fine.
Belly button light over
Actually,
your shoulder.
daylight gives me disadvantage.
Oh yeah. So Fizz is working
Oh,
with
it's not
belly
daylight
button.
though.
But if it's bright
Like a
light,
torch.
right?
It's like a torch. It's not super bright. It
I mean,
helps
do what
a
you
little bit.
want.
So
but-
belly button light and Fizz for a little bit. She's sitting there scrolling on the pages, and after a handful of time, do any of you do anything while she's working, or are you all just kind of like standing in the room keeping guard while she's finishing up the drawing?
Just standing in the room, twiddling my thumbs,
Checking it
looking
out.
for danger.
The belly button light,
Shit.
the two guards. We got a party here. The unseen servant and the mage hand are like doing some secret handshake, like they're from high school or middle school. You know, whatever the flappy handshake, slap, clap, high five stuff is. You know, 'cause they're magical.
Slappy slap clap.
Slappy flap clap. I never knew what those were. I just saw people doing them. I'm like, whatever. So the slappy flap claps of these magical beings go on, and as Fizz finishes up and is able to roll the scroll, Fizz, how do you feel at this point now that you've copied this magical map down?
No different than I did before.
No different than
I mean,
you did
I
before.
drew a map. I do that all the time. I've been doing that a lot.
You
I was
toss it in the
already
bag?
like preparing to draw one of the tunnels we've been going through.
So Fizz is already mentally like mapping the tunnels. She throws the map in her bag. Do you continue into the next room or back out?
I feel like. Well, what time of day is it? How long have we been in here?
You all feel like you may have been there for An hour or two, potentially 3 at the most. Putting your hand into the crystal distorted your sense of time briefly, but it doesn't seem like you were in the crystal for days or hours or anything more than a few minutes.
Should we follow them?
It was early morning, so a little past breakfast, probably 9, 10 a.m. when you decided to go down to the caves.
Should we follow the goo drips down the other way?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
They don't go
goo drips came
farther
from
in, do they?
this room, and they go back from where you were through the cart, like past where the cart was, and then back to the tunnel with the spiral walkway that leads upwards and then downwards, potentially a little bit further.
You said they didn't double back though.
The drips did not double back. The drips came from this room or from the spiral. It went in some direction between that gemstone and the main spiral walkway that goes up and down in either direction.
Did we see if they went up or down the spiral?
No, you haven't. That would have to, you'd have to follow that back out to the spiral, and you haven't been to this part of the spiral yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you want to go, correct?
Onward to adventure.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah,
now
we
I'm
can't go any
curious.
further, right?
Well, now I'm curious if they came down from somewhere above. Even though we saw it at the front, maybe they went up and out. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know where they went to or came from, but you know it was
Corrigan.
between this gem and elsewhere.
I wonder if you might try something for me. How tall is Corrigan?
It's only like a foot and a half.
Very short. I have it. Hold on. 10 inches.
32 centimeters. 10 inches
10
tall?
inches.
Oh,
And you
I
said
thought you were
this
like a foot and a
gem
half.
is the size of a human head.
This gem is about the size of Corey.
Do you
10
think you
inches.
might try stepping all the way in there?
You know, I had thought about it actually.
Right?
I was debating doing it.
What if I hold on to you when you do it?
It's like put a rope on you or something.
I just, if I struggle,
give
I'll
us a
just
tug,
turn
we'll pull you
into
back.
something big. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Says the person who is scared about even touching it. But I'm glad you
Well-
have confidence now.
Well, because I saw you all touch it and we're fine.
It's true.
But we also
Cautious,
didn't
Just
put our
like-
whole bodies in there, but
Do
You're sleeping in a
it.
bag.
not
You're
in a
doing it.
rock.
It's fine.
I mean, you do you.
I investigated. I didn't, but I should have. But I already said I'm going in.
Go
So-
for it.
Corey,
it.
do you go in with rope or without rope? What's going on?
Without rope. What am I?
Without rope.
We're free climbing this orb.
Do you want me to put my hand in there?
Corey
Free
just
climb
walks.
with this one.
Corey just walks right into the gem.
Flies probably, right?
Flies, walks, whatever it may be.
Yeah,
As
probably
Corey
swoops
fully
in, yeah.
immerses, himself in the gem, they disappear from your vision in the room. Corey, as you step fully into the gem, you feel the room almost rewind in time. The table around you just gets rebuilt into itself up above your head.
Oh no.
The room reverses. You see motion of creatures and people and things moving through, and the room feels as if it had just been built a couple weeks ago. The stone flooring is perfectly interlocked. There's almost zero gap in between each of the stones. It is the finest dwarven architecture that you've ever seen, and the gem around you is kind of rippling. Do you wish to stay in the gem or walk out of it?
No, I'll stay in there.
As you stay in the gem, time around you is like paused. As you look around, you notice there's a dwarf carrying a large gemstone that's even bigger than the one you'd stepped into. And it is gleaming and glowing bright. From what you can tell with the mixed colors that this gem that you're standing in is doing, you think it's probably a deep blue or a deep purple. But he's frozen in time, just like half-stepped with a giant grin, like running out of the room where you saw the map earlier and towards the carts into the next room that was where you'd seen all the carts and the tubing to send it back up the shaft. but he's like stopped with a big grin. You see someone peeking around the corner where he's coming from, and just like giving a big thumbs up. And it seems like an exciting moment, like they've found the biggest gem or the brightest gem or a gem of this color. Like it's very exciting to these couple people you see, but no one else is in the room, and it seems that this is like a wonderful find at the near bottom of this pit. There's zero dust on the floor. In the back corner, there's a couple chairs. One where you'd seen the voice before, but across the way, it's like the two chairs are turned in the back of this room as if they were to be sitting and talking to one another. There's nothing really hanging on the walls. It seems to be a pretty clean room.
Can I move about the room?
Yes, you'd have to leave the gemstone that you're standing in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, as you step out of this gemstone, you see a wavering ghost of the gemstone sitting there and just kind of fluttering in spot. The room comes alive very, very slowly, and you see the dwarf running in incredible slow motion out of the room, and it seems to be just a glimpse of where you're at in time. And as you move about the room, on top of this table, the gemstone that you had stepped into in the other side essentially is sitting there. It's glowing incredibly bright at this point. There's a few notes sitting around it. A couple of the notes seem to say that it can only be handled by the finest of metals. Beware, don't touch, as it transports you to a different time or a different place. And all of these things are different handwritings, as it seems that other people have experienced things differently. But the main thing is that the gemstone can be moved and carved by metals, only of the finest caliber. Do you wish to venture outside of these rooms or stay here? Also, your party isn't seen at this point. Your party doesn't see you either.
No, so Corey is assuming that we're now back at, especially with the information from the notes, that we're now back at the initial discovery and study of the gemstone.
Mm-hmm.
Can I interact with the world around me? That's going to dictate a lot.
Yeah, you can seemingly interact with, if you try to pick up a note on the table, you notice that it comes with incredible force. Not that it's weighty, but like because time is at like a tenth of the speed or slower than what you're perceiving it to be, or you're perceiving it at a much slower state, picking up a note requires you to just slowly lift it up, as if you're experiencing life at a much higher rate than those around you.
Okay.
Pietro Maximoff. Quicksilver? That's how that he's not actually a speedster, he just encounters time at a much slower rate.
Yeah, so that is what you're feeling. Glenn gets to flex his superhero knowledge.
Actually?
Actually.
Yeah.
So, and the glowing gem on the table is the same gem that I went through, yes?
To the best of your knowledge, yes. It looks identical, and it seems to be in the same spot that if the table were to split in half right now, it would have landed identically where you had stepped through it.
Okay. I do want to go and look around at other things, but what I want to do is mold earth in like the wall deep enough for the gem itself. Put the gem in, mold earth again, and make it appear that
So smart.
there was nothing there. Like appear that the wall hadn't been touched. Does that make sense?
Okay. So you're able
a
to mold
genius.
earth and pull a chunk of the wall out, and you see the wall come out fairly slow, much quicker than the motion of the rest of the group that's around you. The person giving the thumbs up, and the other person running out. And the thumbs up kind of pulls back, and you see the jaw slowly drop. And as the jaw has slowly dropped, it's like they're noticing the wall has been knocked out. And at this point, you've already got a hole in the wall. So if you were to look at it in real time, it'd be like that dirt's moved, the hole's in the wall, almost magically happened, the dirt's on the floor. How are you moving the gem? Are you just trying to lift it up?
Yeah, I mean, I'd try to lift it first.
Okay. As you touch the gemstone, your hands go and sink into the gemstone here, and as you do that, you get the room changes in the same way as when you put your hands in the gemstone a little bit prior, and you hear some very ethereal, echoey voices of the party that are very familiar. You can't place them in the room, but they're talking about how you disappeared and where did he go? Are we getting Corey back? And you seem to be hearing their conversations in the same time frame. Like, time is moving in parallel in these two spots, but you're unable to grasp the gem. The party does see little wavy ethereal hands within the gem, as if Corey is like grasping the gem from the other side, essentially.
What is the gem sitting on a table?
It's sitting on a table, a wooden table.
Can I slide the table?
Yeah, the table is a fairly cheap wood. It seems that it was a very quickly made, very well crafted, but not like a heavy oak table or anything. Probably something so they can get it down to the bottom of the mine without a lot of effort. So it might be a bit of a push for you, as it is still going to be across the floor. But yeah, you can give it a push. So if you pull your hands back out, you're back in that time.
I can turn into, I don't know, something with the strong enough thing to do it, like a bear or maybe a giant sloth that has, or a giant badger that has a burrow speed just in case. Just something big enough to make it not a struggle.
Okay.
My goal is to walk the table over to the wall, kind of like get under it and shoulder tilt to dump it into the hole. Take the table back. And then
you want to put the table back, even, you say?
Yeah, I want to give as little. I want to leave as little evidence that anything went into this wall as possible.
All right. So as you do all of this, you see the jaw just drop of this. You believe it to be a young human that was given a thumbs up, and the dwarf still is running. And you believe that the time it takes you to do all of this, to pull the dirt out of the wall and move the stones, push the table and dump the gem in, pull the table back, and then put everything back, is in under a second real time. You're just moving this about, and the table is roughly where you need it to be. Still under the table is the glowing, rippling gemstone that you had walked through. The jaw had dropped on that young human, and they're looking about, and they're slowly walking in. And you see their hands go up in the air very slowly as there's papers fluttering down to the ground of the notes. And they're looking at the table as if the gemstone had just like popped off of it, because it was so incredibly quick as to what happened in their perspective, that for what they know, the table rattled and the gemstone just exploded and it's gone. And they're now like about to tear their hair out. And you're not seen, so you're not really a part of their world. You're just you're kind of there in a ghastly form.
One final thing I'd like to do is right underneath of the table, and I realize this may cause me damage when I go back into the gem.
Okay.
I'd like to cast Create Bonfire so that a spontaneous fire just erupts, essentially. Because I got to try and trick the brain of the people that kind of saw a thing happen.
Yeah.
So I want to basically make a bonfire, whoosh, and then at the same time, thwip on out of back to my time.
All right. As you do that, you see the couple sparks start of this bonfire underneath this table, and as you step through the gem, there's a loud crack, both to your ears and the rest of the party who had perceived this different timeline briefly. And as that loud crack happens, a flash of light hits, and the table that was used and collapsed in the center is now burnt into a crisp, and there's some table legs tossed off to the side. So whatever had happened here, they had stopped using this area, to the best of your knowledge, almost immediately after this gemstone exploded or caught fire or disappeared, because the table legs seemed to be pushed off to the sides. Where Fizz had drawn her stuff, that bit of the table was just burnt to a crisp, and the legs are just laying there. All of you see this happen right in front of your eyes. Corey reappears, and the gemstone disappears to all of you. Corey, you step through into this realm, and the gemstone is gone. But you know what had happened to it at this point.
Okay.
So Corey reappears in the rest of your vision with a snap and a crackle and a flash of light, and the room changes a bit.
I want to relay my experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, as jaws have dropped, staring
Please
at
do.
you.
Oh my God, it's going so fast. They couldn't even see. I had to cause some problems for them, some commotion, stir.
Did it work?
I don't know. I think so.
I hope so.
Well, the gem definitely takes you to different places, or time rather, to a previous time. And were they using it to communicate with dead? I don't know exactly what it's used for, but
Well, if it's possible to communicate with people in different timelines, they could have been communicating with someone in the future, which is why they had such a precise amount of years that they were waiting.
say that again.
So, if we could see the past, maybe they could see the future, and they were trying to communicate with people who are alive now,
Corey,
so
you
that
do
they knew when they
remember-
come back.
Corey, you do remember when you had tried grabbing the stone in the past, you had seen your current timeline in real time, as if time had passed identically between the two. So your speech, your understanding of what Lily was saying probably clicks a little bit.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It looked like they had just discovered this thing and started to study it. Now, I'm not a proficient time traveler by any means, but there's a small chance. I don't know what this did, but there's a small chance I just kind of effed up everything in the world, depending on causalities and reactions, and but I just thought it was better that this thing not be in the world.
Oh no,
Also,
our
it's in
table
that
is
wall right there.
broken.
It's in that wall right there, behind about 3 feet of rock.
Prove it.
No.
Didn't he burn it? A piece of the wood?
He burnt the table, but he hid the gem in the wall.
No.
He bust a hole in the wall with mold earth,
Then how did he come back through?
because there's a wavering vision of the gem that he had walked through. Like his link to his time, essentially.
Was I
Here's
still
the thing,
working on
Corey.
the map when the table disintegrated?
No. You had wrapped your map up, and you had encouraged him to go in.
Okay.
I could
Okay.
clear
Or
like a
you
little
Did I?
bit.
I was
plan
like
to
saying
show
maybe
the
he
rock.
shouldn't, but
Think about if we could commune with ourselves in the future. plan things out, know what's going to happen. That could
But
be a
the
really
rock goes
useful
to the
thing for us.
past.
It could be a
Well,
real
goes to the
shit
past,
show
not the
too,
future.
though.
Goes to now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What if it's one of those scenarios where you can't see yourself in another timeline and you just cease to exist?
It implodes the reality.
I mean, he broke our table. Who knows what else he did?
But he
Well,
just
if that
told
was
us what
the
he
way
did.
that well, if that was them communicating with the future, then they can't do it anymore if it's hidden. So maybe you just ended the threat altogether.
That's my initial deep down hope, is what I did.
Are the
But-
drips?
How do we find out? How do
Are
we
the
test
drips
this theory?
still?
The drips are still there.
Hmm.
Um,
I think we need to follow
That's-
them again.
yes. I mean, we should definitely continue. Let's keep
Perception.
our eyes out for things that are different.
Perception checks
Perception?
from everybody right now.
Yes. Let's do it. Perception.
Damn.
My D&D Beyond dice roll so slow.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
9.
know why. My browser's being weird.
Maybe it's
Oh,
your
that's a-
internet.
21.
21.
Ooh.
10, a 9, a 21.
20 win.
Did you get a 21 too?
I got a 17.
Okay.
But what's 9 plus 10?
Right.
20 win.
19?
No, it's an
Oh,
old
is that a
meme.
meme?
It's an old-
20
it's a
win.
Vine.
Oh.
It's back to the Vine era.
Vine.
So Eljor,
Do it for
you're
the
the
Vine.
only one. You're the only one here, Eljor. You hear a bit of an echo of footsteps and some voices coming back down the hall from where you had ridden the cart, essentially. You believe them to be around a corner, so not down the cart path, but potentially a walk path. All you can understand from the voices is you hear a man say, "The gem's this way, sir." They seem to be coming your direction.
The blue glow is gone, right?
The blue glow is gone. This room is dark at this point.
Because the gem is like in the wall, right?
Mold Earth and get us in the wall.
You would die very quickly.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No, look at my face. Shh. This is coming down the hall.
Oh, sorry.
Listen.
Is this a dead end, DM?
You haven't gone into the last room where you saw the map.
Let's go into
Let's
the
go into
last
that room.
As we go into this
Hide around the
room,
corner.
Do you want me to set a trap? My whisper that's not really a whisper.
do you want a trap set?
What kind of trap?
What kind do you want? Just kidding. I can only do like grease or like the thing that breaks the guy's ankle.
So we're signaling to hide, going into the next room.
All right.
As you all enter this next room and we queue up our raid, as you enter this next room, it seems to be the final room in the series. It's even dustier than the last, as if no one has been in here for, you know, about 100 years. There's a work table in the corner that is barely standing with a couple tools set on top of it. There's an apron thrown to the ground as if someone had left in a hurry. And that's about it. The room itself is the last in the hall, and the voices continue to get closer, talking something about the gemstone being this way. And this is where we're going to leave it, everybody. Voices getting closer. You're in the very last room. We're going to cliffhanger this.
Oh no, I hope they don't fall.
Oh, man. More memes. So we're going to make sure this is uploaded so you can keep up to date. You can listen back through. We're going to give you a recap when we start our next episode. Keep an eye on our social and our Discord. We are looking into what our next dates will be. We will not be playing the 1st of January.
We won't?
No, we won't be playing the 1st of January. If we are, we're playing something not story related because a lot of
Okay.
people travel during that time. We may not be
Got
playing story
plans to be
related.
hungover.
or hungover.
Y'all
or
got all the
sleepy.
flights sold out. I can't go nowhere.
Also, we may not be playing Storyline on the 18th, which is 2 weeks from now, but we will probably, if not
I'm gonna
playing Storyline,
play.
we'll probably be playing something else, whether it's a one-shot or another game. Do tune in. So on the 18th, we will be here. We will be picking back for realsies our series in January. So this cliffhanger is going to be a big one. I will make sure to keep you all updated.
It's
as
like
we
a
go
cliffhanger
along.
that like spans a year.
I mean, that's how a lot of the shows
Glenn.
in the late 90s, early thousands did.
Glenn, I'm sure.
I'm muted. Dang it! I was eating carrots. I was trying to be considerate. We're gonna have to wait on this cliffhang
Hey,
until 2022.
yeah,
It's a cliff so big we're gonna fall into another year.
yeah, you're falling into another
Oh
year.
my
for it.
Cliff like a Dutch toilet.
So I'm bringing you all back to the 1990s, early thousands when cliffhangers were the end of the season. You had to wait till the next season, which was
I
like
thought you
a
were
month
meaning
away.
like back to Y2K, like will it or
Don't
won't
tell
it?
Lucas. Don't tell Lucas Martinez because he does not like cliffhangers. That's like my bit how I end every season, and he's still waiting on a Krampus wrap up from like 3 years ago.
Lucas, if you're listening, message me and I'll give you a slightly less
Are we
cliffhanger-y
doing
note.
Are we doing a Christmas episode or Christmas something? Because do you remember? Okay, do you guys who remembers the game with Glenn and Sarah,
Hey,
the Christmas
The
episode?
first time y'all met Glenn and Sarah on Here Be Dragons, there
It
was
was
a really
so
fun Christmas
good.
episode.
Yup.
Let's just plan that. 2 weeks from now, we're gonna do a
Candy
Christmassy holiday theme. Cast, feel free to give me some thoughts of things you like. Not a direction, but like things you like, so I can have some themes.
We already did the Grinch thingy though.
We already did the Grinch thing, but those
Exploded
of you who
ornament.
That was so much fun.
go to our Discord. We'll have an open poll if there's stuff you guys want to see in a holiday themed episode. Get it in on our Discord in the next couple weeks in the common room.
Apparently,
and
Team has opinions.
We will try to incorporate that and or theme around it. So go to Discord. We'll chat about it and we'll see what falls out for the 18th.
Larry.
All right.
What, Larry?
Who are we rating
you were
tonight on
deep
this
in the
massive
mean hole.
cliffhanger?
When-
The group called I don't know the group name, but streamer is Aaron Porter. It's got
Aaron
a
Porter.
group of people playing
Sweet.
a homebrew 5e game.
A homebrew 5e game.
Nice.
Baller.
Penguin Witch Doctor, thank you for the roll for damage shout out there. We are going for another group that's playing a massive 5e game, so we're gonna hop there. But do look at Roll for Damage. I believe I've watched them before. They're pretty cool. So feel free to follow them. Join in our raid. If you haven't kicked that off, let's do it. And we'll see you in 2 weeks for a Christmas themed or holiday themed episode. And we'll see you in the new year to pick up this cliffhanger. So everybody, thank you for tuning in this season, this year, and we'll see you soon.
Who's in bad? Larry?
And we are going to our video.